A guy was sitting at his computer playing a game. He had a clean win. He said he wanted to get into a fantasy game. When he looked at the time, he noted that it looked like he had to go to bed. He had to work tomorrow. When the game ended, reality returned. This useless reality. The hero's name is Mitsuba Taishi. He's 29 years old, a bachelor, which is worse than being overweight, a regular wage earner. He doesn't like his current life. He has a feeling of hopelessness from which it is impossible to get rid of in reality, so he completely immerses himself in games, light novels, and the internet. Yes, he is an adult who loves fantasy and other worlds. He knows that there are no other worlds like in dreams. But this reality, he is unable to change it himself. Boring reality, that's reality for him. Isn't that exactly normal? He's sure everyone has thought about it at least once, becoming the chosen one in a fantasy world. He wants to be the ultimate hero. When he plays games, he usually has a hard mod on. But if he gets there, he could use an easy mod. It's all just a fantasy. And that's how another boring day ended. At least that's how it was supposed to be. Someone declared for Mitsuba to try then, a 29-year-old bachelor. He was called to another world to live free. Mitsuba didn't understand anything, and afterwards he lost consciousness. The girl called Taishi and asked him to wait for her. She ran up to him and asked him how he could leave without his lovely bride. Now Mitsuba is in a fantasy world. He asked permission to first tell her about his life. Taishi Mitsuba, a middle-aged man who turns 30 this year. The office fat guy. He was just sitting at his comp, playing games and surfing the net. Then he went to bed and found himself in a fantasy world. He was puzzled as to what day happened. He was standing on a lawn in the middle of a forest, not realizing where he was at all. Taishi urged himself to calm down. Then he noticed his glasses were gone and his stomach. He seemed to have lost weight. He shouted if someone could explain what was going on here. Suddenly someone asked for permission to explain. By now he should have realized, this is the so-called other world. It's called Eliard. It's a fantasy world just like he wanted. The guy remarked that it seemed like the truth. He wanted to get into a game like fantasy, but didn't think about it. Anything could have happened so suddenly. His favorite dog is waiting for him at home and he can't take care of them. The voice said there was magic in this world. Boy, was she tasked with not having that voice just ignore it. He began to realize that it was a mistake to start a conversation with this voice. He decided to clarify about the magic. The voice confirmed that it was indeed there. The level of development in this world is so-called medieval in its present. Well, mages thrive here, so the voice disposes it something better. On the other hand, science is hardly developed. Taishi asked him to wait a moment and inquired how to use magic. A voice urged him to open the menu. Suddenly, a lot of different screens appeared in front of him. Taishi noted that it was really like a game now. He saw that his age was 19, though his real age was 29. Magic, swordsmanship, alchemy, there are many variations of skills. He can learn them all using the skill menu. Taishi isn't really sure what that means. He can earn points in minis whenever he wants, and then his level increases. He can pump different skills in that menu for points earned. He would be able to quickly pull off skills that would normally take years to learn. Taishi clarified that he could learn skills just by using this menu. That was great for him. Then he noticed the inventory menu. The inventory prepared the adventurer's starter kit. He needed to use it effectively. Taishi noted that that was very thoughtful of him. He decided to try to do something. He assumes that something is all his skills for now. However, he just acquired the skills and still doesn't know how they work, and he needs somewhere to try them out. He would feel it anyway, after which he questioned himself as to what he should do. The voice stated he could do whatever he wanted. Maybe become a hero or stop being a villain. Maybe he would try to find his way home or live here until he died. Not bad either. That was the end of his training. The voice would watch him from time to time, but if he wanted to, he could try to contact him. After that, the voice disappeared. Taishi still didn't realize what it was. His life in the other world began now. He noted that wasn't it too free. At that moment, he was in the kingdom of Calendil's Crossroad. He noted that he understood their writings and even understood their speech. They don't look like common people. Some of them wear collars. Perhaps the girl he met is a slave. Taishi didn't understand how freedom worked in this world. but he also didn't understand the hierarchy of this world and its currency. He was holding a bag of coins in his hands. He doesn't know the current coin rate. He paid 5 large medians to enter the city. He still has a gold coin, a large silver coin, a simple silver coin, a large copper coin, and a simple copper coin. He thought with horror that if he ran out of money, would he become a slave? He still had a long way to go to understand the law of this world. Fighting the blue opponents and saving the princesses, or something even better, becoming a harem king, is it possible? As expected, he becomes greedy. Still, he wished he could run into a cute girl and it wouldn't be so bad. Suddenly, a girl who passed him turned to him. Taishi won establishment. There he was welcomed into the Adventurers Guild. The man noted that he had never seen him here in his lifetime, probably looking for work. Taishi stated that he's here to register. Temporary identification card, valid. He held it out to the man and said his name, Taishi Mitsuba. He had come here because he had heard that full registration could only be completed for the guild. The man introduced himself as Ust. He noted that the guys were good crazies, but would he be able to resist? Taishi noted that it was creepy and pulled a business-like smile on his face. Luckily, there isn't a regular fat one of him right now. He can use a future sword without armor and can use wind magic and also heal a bit. Ust noted that he was very versatile despite his appearance. He asked permission to explain a few things he needed to register. First of all, he doesn't need to cause trouble or use his weapons or magic to make a fuss in the city. Legendi members must help each other as much as possible. Killing another is forbidden. He asked to ask him any questions if he had any. Ust noted that it was just an explanation and he would test his ability. Then he brought him to a special arena where everyone was surprised to see the new guy. Ust noted that it should fit and turned to the guy named Ethan. Ethan greeted the man and the new recruit. He immediately threw the new recruit's sword to his hands, which he immediately caught. Taishi told the old man that he had a request. He handed him his short sword and asked him to keep an eye on him. Taishi noted that this is indeed a different world. There are many beautiful heroine girls here. He shouldn't be embarrassed in front of them. Taishi asked if he could use magic. Ust noted that if he kills his opponent, he won't. The boy noted that it is not forbidden, and he wants to try the magic he has learned. The girls speculated as to who they thought would win. Just a moment later, they announced that the test was starting. Ethan and Taishi had to get ready. Ethan lunged toward Taishi, who noted that he made a dash to attack sharply. Ethan stated that he thought he was just an amateur in gear. Taishi could calculate all the moves and had a good chance of winning. The most convenient opponent for him, but he has his own techniques. He has gained physical resilience, skee-ball and combat and unarmed skills, and a second level in the art of wind magic. Taishi launched an air vortex at the guy, then pushed his opponent straight into the wall. It was immediately announced that the winner was Taishi Mitsuba. The guys in the stands were shocked. Not only is he good with the ball, but he can also use magic. Ust noted that the guy was really not bad. Taishi's hands were shaking. He couldn't believe he had just used magic. Everyone on the podium applauded him, and one girl was simply amazed. Ust asked who else wanted to fight him. Suddenly, men appeared behind him, noting how appetizing his face was, and they were obliged to try it. Ust noted that the guy had become a celebrity. Taishi asked if he had passed, to which the man replied that he had passed without a hitch. Taishi thought mentally that if he didn't pass, he would be a loser. Ust handed over his adventurer's card. Taishi watched, not giving up, wondering if it needed an identification card. Ust mentioned that usually everyone starts at rank F, but he gave him rank E. Taishi clarified what the point of raising the rank was. If he reaches B rank, people will start to recognize him. And when he reaches A rank, they will start admiring him. And when he reaches S rank, he'll become a national hero. Taishi noted that he seemed to have a long road ahead of him. Ust urged him to become the best. Taishi came to a place called Burning Golden Beds. He stated that it seems you are here. Inside, he was greeted and asked if he wanted a room. Taishi replied that Uz from the Adventurers Guild recommended this place to him. He was interested in how much it cost per night. The man at the front desk replied that if he had been recommended this place by the Adventurers Guild, then the price for one night, including breakfast, would be 2 large medians and 5 small ones. Taishi wasn't sure about currency exchange in this world. It would be for 10 days. The man, for hers, that it would be 2 silver coins and 5 medicos. The man at the front desk called for Hopinia to come up to him and escort their guest to his room. A girl appeared and asked the guest to follow him. Taishi noted that the girl was the innkeeper's daughter. The girl noted that this would be Sir Taishi's room. Let him enjoy his stay here. The boy noted that the room was not bad and decided to check his status. He didn't notice that he had gotten a level increase. Maybe it was because of the ability test, but he also got 6 skill points. He could take a new skill, but maybe he'd be better off swinging multiple practical skills. It's prudent, efficiency is important, and he just doesn't want to die early. Taishi decides to check his inventory as well. Both the operation and characterization menus, he can summon them with thought, and that's interesting too. It's also as simple as breathing. The adventurer's kit includes a backpack, blanket, flashlights, lantern, flask, short sword, rations, and a 10-meter rope. These are all his items. If he puts them together in the same container, it seems they will read as separate items. He wondered if it could ignore the size and weight of stored items. He decided that it should be tested. In this world called Eliard, he was curious about the adventures that awaited him. He decided that he had enough for today. This time, he didn't even expect to receive an unexpected confession. Suddenly, he asked the girl what she had just said. The girl asked him to go out with her. He didn't understand how that happened. He urged himself to calm down and set things straight. First, he went out to get some gear. He had been greeted at the armory a few hours ago. He noted the smell of iron and leather inside. He started looking at the balls, thinking about which one he should buy. Suddenly, a girl appeared next to him and said that choosing his first armor was very important. She asked him if he needed help. Her name is Louise. She's a clerk here. Taishi introduced himself and said that he was thinking of buying leather armor. If you looked closely, the girl's pointed ears might be on an elf or something. Suddenly, she hugged him, which the boy was dumbfounded by. He noted that she smelled good and was so soft. Mentally, he urged her to wait, since the other visitors were looking at him. Louise said after a moment that the armor should fit, then called him Big Brother. She also asked what style of gloves and knee pads he liked. Taishi replied that he wanted something for hand-to-hand combat, not just sword fighting. His budget was 9 silver coins. Louise replied that then it is a good idea to reinforce his knuckles, and elbows with metal. And she would also reinforce his boots, but that would be a little over his budget. Taishi stated that if not much more, it's not a problem. The boy noted that the other world was a cool place. He noticed the cat looking at him with a frown. Louise approached him as the manager and asked if she could wrap it up. It seems this world is full of wonders. Louise, check with Big Brother about the weapons. Taishi answered what he wanted, but reminded him of his budget. He wants a big sword, but he can use wind magic instead. Louise said he really needs a long sword, given his build. She noted the information about magic and offered him a guide. Louise was shocked that Big Brother was using magic without a guide. Didn't he know it was very effective? Taishi didn't understand if the girl was making fun of him. Louise said it was the cheapest guide in their shop. He will see the difference when he tries it. Taishi thought about how it looked like a wooden stick, just like drumsticks. Here he thought in the morning bullets, and noted that indeed. He felt that he could draw magical energy through this conductor. He checked with the girl to see if he could use it as a weapon. Louise replied that they had something like this. She pulled out a mace and asked if it would be enough. It only cost 6 silver. Taishi pointed out that weapon equipment is quite expensive. He began to haggle badly and asked if he could get a discount since he was buying the full set. The girl thought that the set would be 1 gold and 4 silver. Taishi asked if she had just seen the cat signal. Then he started to justify what he meant. However, he had already been thanked for coming. Then, after buying the weapon shop, he went back to the guild. Uz stated that the guy now looked more like a true adventurer. Taishi agreed with him. After that, the guy decided to see how his weapons worked. He improved his archery skill to level 2 just for the sake of it. He felt something when he gained these abilities. He feels that the body enhancement skill helps him when running. Improving his level 2 ball skill made his body more stable, or rather made the movement of pain changeable. He feels he is ready to fight in this world. As he was sitting on the bench, a girl came up to him and apologized. This girl showed up while he was resting after a workout. That's when she asked him to go out with her. She suddenly confessed to him and why. Taishi didn't understand what she meant. The girl shared that she had just become an adventurer, but was afraid to fight monsters alone. She thought about joining a group, but it didn't work out. Taishi realized that her offer to be together was not an acceptance. She meant to be together as an adventurer. She watched the test of his abilities. He had excellent sword skills, strong magic. She really questioned if he was a beginner like her. If such a person was in a group with her, it would be really great. That's exactly what she thought. Taishi noted that's why she got so excited. The girl shared that it was all so sudden. The guy replied that he was glad she confided in him. Taishi didn't realize what kind of girl she was. To be honest, she was very cute. He wished it wasn't a declaration of love. This is a different world, and it's a place where anything can be done to him if he's not alert. Taishi tells the girl that he doesn't believe her. It's too good to be true, and he feels that she's telling the truth. He asked to be allowed to hear her real motive. There are many people who are stronger than him, so why him? The girl asked him if he was a former knight or mercenary. Taishi thought about the fact that it was somewhat true. The girl noted that he has no experience on his powers is abnormal. She wants to follow someone strong, and anyone who saw him would think the same. But he still didn't understand what she was hiding. Uz said that the girl could be trusted and he could vouch for her. Uz added that even though she was a beginner, she had a lot of knowledge and useful skills. He urged the boy not to be so suspicious of an innocent girl. The girl stated that it is just as Mr. Uz said. Her offer she is asking for very much. Taishi apologized for doubting her, and he was very cautious because he had never been to this land before. He hadn't decided about the group yet, so he wouldn't worry about it too much for now. The guy introduced that his name was Taishi, and the girl introduced that her name was Marl, and it was nice to meet him. Marl was very happy that now she could go on adventures with him. Taishi noted that it was good that the girl was so energetic, but the main thing was that she was his type. Above all, he decided to see how she would handle it. Taishi apologized for rushing things. But why don't they just accept the guild's request? The girl was shocked if he wanted to go right now. Even if she doesn't want to, they are still adventurers after all. They are obliged to go on an adventure. Marl tearfully pointed out that it was dangerous. Taisha that the girl was in no hurry to do the deed. He told her it's okay if it gets dangerous, they'll just run away. He'll protect her if anything happens. He only said that because he wants adventure. No matter what happens, there's no way he's telling her the truth. He said that they should take a quest from the guild then. Marl stated that she would leave it up to him. Taishi pulled out his guide and called the girl with him. However, she was surprised and asked if it was a treasure trove he had, if he had just used me. I realized from the reactions that this is not an easy ability in this world. Marl shared that it's not too much stuff and traveling is so hard. He doesn't have to carry his stuff and she is so jealous of him. He was puzzled as to whether it was such a rare ability. He realized he shouldn't tell anyone about the nature of his powers. Taishi decided to ask his girlfriend what weapon she used. Marl answered a little uncertainly that it was a sword, and it was questioning. He offered her a little sparring because he wanted to know what she was capable of. However, during the sparring, the girl was defeated. Taishi had a bad feeling about all this. He pointed out that the girl's waist should be straightened. Taishi suggested that she just forget about forming a group. The girl asked him to stand. Now he seemed to understand why the girl wasn't accepted in other groups. She was a real nub. Marl clung to his leg and asked him to wait. Taishi decided to give her his friendly advice. She better quit this venture of becoming an adventurer. Let her go back to her home and live a normal life. Marl replied that she had nowhere else to go back to. Suddenly, the girl startled and told him that something seemed to be coming. Marl said that it was a small boar and she couldn't believe that it had appeared. Taishi really didn't understand why it was small. He asked the girl to help him, noting that he would go ahead. However, the girl was trembling on the ground in fear. He certainly thought about it. He could fight in another world, but he shouldn't protect anyone. Marl alerted Taishi that a boar was attacking. The boy noted that it was close and it was faster than he thought. He was shocked that the boar was chasing him for some reason and he couldn't break away. Taishi decided this was a great chance to test his club. He used wind dissection. His skills are similar, he can use them without restriction. Marl stated that it was great. He killed that little boar with one blow. The girl told Taishi that she was glad he was okay. The boy turned sharply and called the girl a fool. He reminded her that they were adventurers and they would inevitably meet with danger. He asked her if she could protect herself. He does everything, perhaps he lacks the strength to take care of others. The girl stated that normal F or E rank adventurers wouldn't be able to resist when facing a small boar. She knew that and went on the adventure anyway. It was all because he said he would protect her. Taishi was outraged at what kind of lawyer couldn't defend herself. After all, her own life was at stake, whether she realized it or not. Marl replied that she knew she'd been reckless. By the way in, an adventurer doesn't even have the ability to do that. She couldn't fight and became a god to him, and even so, he is the only one who protected her. She sees him as the man she wants to aspire to be. After a while, she apologized for talking too much. Taishi was glad she was okay. Marl asked him if she could go down to the river. She was a little dirty and wanted to wash her things. The guy replied that they weren't that dirty. The girl noted that when the little boar came out, she was so scared that she peed her pants. Taishi was shocked at the girl ran away, saying that she would not be able to marry again. However, she stopped and asked Mr. Taishi if he could take her as his wife. The guy didn't understand what she was saying. Then he and the girl decided to go to the forest. Marl warned him that there were two on his right. Taishi understood her and struck at that opponent. After a moment, the girl announced that there were 5 of them, and further back on the left was a small boar. Taishi noted that the girl was useless in the fight, but she was attentive to her surroundings, and because of that, it was much easier to fight. Speaking of which, Marl was the first to sense the presence of the small boar. As the old man says, she probably has a good sense of smell, so it looks like she's not completely useless. The boys tried to catch their breath, and Taishi said that they had somehow won. Maybe there are some who are hiding, and it's best not to relax on the way home. Uz was shocked to hear about the 3 little boars and 29 goblins. He's glad they got their time back. Taishi said that it was pretty scary, because real life and games are really different things. Marl didn't understand what the guy was talking about, and he asked her not to think about it. Marl told him it was great. First, he got the monsters one by one, then he put them all in his treasure box and brought them home. Taishi's evil something called inventory. Uz confirmed that it seemed to be true. It was even written on his adventure map. Taishi noted that the adventure map turns out to have a very handy feature. Uz handed over their reward, to which the guy asked how he calculated it. Uz replied that it all depends on the size of the body condition, but his small boar Annie bought is worth about 5 large medics each. He also asked how they were going to divide them up. Usually the calculation is in terms of hunting contributions. Marl stated that she didn't even lift a finger to Newell in the battle. However, the guy stated that the girl was his map. Also, she spotted the monsters before he did and alerted him. Even during the battle, she was quick to alert him of the number of enemies and their location. So this amount is well-deserved. Despite all this, the size of their share say that he did more, and then he will take the exuberance, narrowly becoming a famous adventurer with such abilities. Magic and swordsmanship, an adventurer with a treasure box, and a beautiful girl with an excellent ability to detect an opponent, as that they complement each other very well. Marl asked Taishi to listen. She was very grateful to him for today, but it was the guy who thanked her in return. The girl noted that she wasn't very helpful, but next time she wanted to take a guild quest together. Taishi agreed. On the way home, he replied that the other world wasn't so bad after all. However, he didn't realize it at the time. Taishi noted that he was in his hotel room when he went to sleep. Also, his head hurt like a hangover was in full swing. He started to reach for the water but grabbed Marl's breast. Living freely in another world was much harder than he had imagined. Jutz asked the girl if she was already back. Marl answered that she was thinking of going to the hotel she had told her about. He said goodbye to the girl and noted that it was already dark, so she had to be careful. Marl told Taishi that she didn't expect to see him in this tavern. Tochila asked if she could eat with him. The guy agreed and asked to be his guest. She was happy to be in the same inn as Mr. Taishi. It's not really a coincidence. So far, everything is going as she planned. She has only one goal, to get as close to Mr. Taishi as possible no matter what. So her operation, Mr. Taishi, began. Marl thought about what was going to happen today, and so did Taishi. Thanks to her, he was now broke. Marl then offered him a drink to celebrate, to which the guy agreed. They drank to their health. She decided to start with a little conversation. She wondered why he was adventurous. Taishi answered that he spent all his free time practicing with his teacher in his hometown, but he wanted to see how far he could go. He couldn't return to his hometown for various reasons. Marl noted that he seemed to be leaving that question. She decided to ask where he was from, to which the guy replied that he was from the Earth. Marl realized that she had never heard of such a place, and she was sure that you were very far away. Taishi agreed that it is indeed very far away. Marl is sure that Mr. Taishi has sparse black hair and slightly pointed almond-shaped eyes, a handsome face with the right harmonious features, not too muscular proportional body and tall stature. He's just like the hero from the fairy tales she often heard at home. Also, he can't go home just like her. Taishi asked the girl what she was going to do now, if she has someone she can count on. Marl declares that the man she can count on is sitting right in front of her and she wants to be his wife no matter how. Taishi sadly calls out that they are out of alcohol. Marl asked the waiter for a better drink for Mr. Taishi. I whispered in her ear to the waitress to bring 1 bottle of nectar, please. The waitress immediately ran after her. The waitress brought the drink and 2 glasses and told her to enjoy it. Marl had no home to return to, and not to return at all, if only for tonight. Marl suggested to Mr. Taishi why he should try this drink. Mr. Taishi got drunk very quickly and stopped talking normally. He tried to tell the girl something and would keep drinking. Marl realized that Mr. Taishi was a man who couldn't keep his mouth shut when he was drunk. He actually stayed to drink because he was worried about them. Somehow when he defended her, she saw his tender side and it was really cool. Even when they crossed paths in the city, she thinks it was a fateful meeting blessed. Even then, she fell in love with him. Taishi wondered why the girl had become an adventurer. Marl replied that she was actually a princess. 2 years ago, she wanted to get married and her fiancé was supposed to be a scumbag prince from a neighboring country who was rumored to be a horrible person. Taishi went on to marry her, which I didn't like, so she ran away from the castle to become an adventurer. The girl asked him how he knew. Taishi said it was too cliched. The girl was outraged that he didn't believe her. He means that since she's a princess, if they hang around with her, he'll be in trouble. Marl asked if it would be better if the adventurer married the princess or if he didn't like her. Taishi didn't realize she didn't have a family. Instead of looking for adventures, she could stay in her hometown. Marl sat down on the table and asked Mister if she was ugly. Taishi replied that he said no such thing, whereupon he fell down. The girl thinks she cares about him more than whoever you are. That's what he said about her being too nice to get drunk or something terrible would happen. She stated that she was fine and could just lay here and she would take care of everything else. Taishi realized that she was the one who had planned the whole thing. The next morning, Marl greeted him in bed. He couldn't believe it. Marl remarked that he didn't think he was being too cruel, screaming after a night with such a beautiful girl. He honestly didn't understand why she was in his room. She noted that after all, he didn't remember anything, so she thought she'd tell him. A girl of marriageable age was sharing a room with a man she knew. Taishi got blue drunk and saw her as a beauty, and then let's just say she's been through a lot. So now she belongs to him and he can have all the fun he wants. That wasn't what he wanted to hear. He doesn't remember anything at all and tried to calm himself down. If he didn't take responsibility, the girl's innocent image would be ruined. Marl checked with the guy to see if he was listening to her, even though he was very active when he did. When she said she was afraid, he put his arms around her and held her gently from behind. Taishi covered his face with his hands and asked please without details. He felt a sense of responsibility and guilt that he couldn't even look at her. He asked if her body was okay. The girl clarified if he was angry. However, everything was fine and there was no point in crying over spilled milk. He patted her head and said he understood her intentions. Also, he doesn't recall his first night with such a beauty as such a waste. Marl turned to him and asked if they could do it again. Suddenly, a maid knocked on their door, looking that she had come to clean the room. Taishi replied that he would be getting ready soon, so let her come by later, please. He suggested that the girl just stand up for now, something she agreed with. Taisha that she looks quite erotic when she is dressed. Marl indignantly asked him where he was looking, then shyly asked if he was horny. Taishi assumes it will keep her safe even if some trouble comes up. Marl didn't understand how he dared to say such a thing. Taishi called Marl to eat, and so the number of his companions officially increased to 1. Taishi didn't understand what was going on with the girl. Marl pointed out that when 2 people go out, it's like a date. Taishi thought about how walking with a pretty girl like Marl would have been impossible in the past world. He thinks about his life there, and how he was happy with everything except being overweight. Marla and Taishi came into the armor and weapons store. They were greeted by a girl. Taishi clarified if it was okay, if not again, everyone was watching. The bludgeon had helped him deal with the monsters that day, but it was no longer usable. He went back to pick out a weapon. He asked the girl if she had ever been to a gun store. Marl replied that there had been a couple times. She's not very good at fighting, but that the guy mentally added that she's not capable of it at all. She wants to choose a weapon that can be used as a defense next battle. The saleswoman showed in that case. Levi's came to serve Marl, and what about the guy? Suddenly, a cat came up to him and said that it seemed his weapon had been in a bad situation. Taishi was shocked that the shopkeeper could talk. The cat pointed out that his weapon could be used in battle and was considered necessary for mages in the rear. He wondered if the guy wanted the same weapon. Taishi replied that it would be nice to have something more durable, to which the shopkeeper clarified what his budget was. Taishi turned to the girl and asked what she planned to buy. Marl replied that she wanted to buy some kind of lightweight crossbow that she could use. Taishi chimed in that they would end up taking it all, so let them not give them a small bonus. The shopkeeper said it couldn't be helped, and he would give them 24 crossbow arrows as a favor. The guy noted that it was a bit of a stingy offer, but since that was the case, he would accept it. A girl's weapon should be complete with that. Taishi enjoyed his battle staff. It was almost the same as his previous one, so it was easy to use. Taishi stated that he would take it, after which they thanked him for the purchase. Marl urged the guy to look at her crossbow. It was as if the weapon made her adventurous. That's how it felt. Taishi didn't understand why this girl was so full of confidence. And she wanted to add, but the boy said for her that she wasn't afraid to go on a trip because she had him with her. The girl wondered how he knew about it. I think that's what she wanted to say. Since that day, he had spent a fair amount of time practicing. Taishi had declared to his opponent, Ethan, that he was attacking. Among others, he crossed swords with Ethan. Meanwhile, the girl seemed to be practicing well with other adventurers besides him. Although if you compare her and him, you don't have to say he's stronger. At one point, Marl was right on target. But even so, the fact that a girl is getting stronger isn't wrong. And what about his level? His level is increasing through training, and he's also accumulating skill points. Now he needs to strengthen the magic recovery. Magic spells are the magic abilities he acquired on his first day in this world. He decided to learn water and earth fire magic. He invested 3 skill points, each boosting the water and earth fire magic to level 2. There are different types of skills and levels he can learn with this skill point system. It was like this the first time he entered another world called Eliard. Some mysterious voice spoke to him. There were many things he wanted to ask about, and anyway, there were quite a few skills here. He wondered if hand-to-hand combat, archery, and cooking were level 1 from the start, and level 2 negotiation. Reflects the experience gained in the past world. By the way, when he was young, trained in archery Shirilji Kempo. Negotiation was mastered in the hotel industry and sales. About cooking, it's really true because he cooked his own food. The maximum level of each ability is 5th. In terms of martial arts, the first level is an experienced person. The second level is a rank holder. The third level is a teacher's class. And the 4th level is the highest class. If someone reaches the 5th level, then they get a superhuman class. There must be a status to it. Taishi decided he wouldn't think too much about it, whether he should even believe the mysterious voice. He asked Marl if he had a minute. He wanted to practice magic and asked the girl if she would be his partner. Marl was taken aback by this question. Etan urged Taishi to be gentle with the girl. Taishi said that there was a misunderstanding that time. There is actually other magic he can use and he needs to test it. If he tells her that he has acquired some magic thanks to the skill points, he is sure that the girl will start working with it again. Marl noted that if she pleased him. He asked her to shoot him with a crossbow. He also noted that everything is fine, it's all good. Marl stated that she is stepping up. He used an earth wall as the location of the reality matches the name, but the defensive power is high. Taishi asked the girl to shoot again. This time he used a water wall. It's marvelous. If the water wall hits, then pierce the enemies, freeze them from inside this killing ability. Everyone was shocked by his ability. Ethan is so glad that the magic he was wounded with wasn't like this. Taishi stated that he also has fire magic. Marl clarified that you're not dangerous. Yuz also added that he would be in trouble if it couldn't be covered in flames. Also, magic arrow could be used as pure level 1 magic. When he tried to shoot out of the inn window into the sky, it seemed as if using magic arrows didn't require any attributes. Even if it's only a level 1 mage, he considers this ability more dangerous than attribute magic. Pure magic will be good enough in that case, and he will upgrade it to level 2. After that, he will also upgrade the recovery magic to level 2. Level 1 recovery magic is healing. The second level neutralizes poisons, including alcohol. Now the girl can't get him drunk. And yet the most important skill for him at the moment is the evaluating eye. He has to face who Marl really is. Marl asked the guy why he was looking so serious. Taishi asked the girl why she wanted to be an adventurer, to something stated that didn't she tell him? She is the first princess of a certain country, and she was tried to marry a prince by scoundrels from a neighboring country, so she ran away from home. He doesn't remember that. She doesn't want to go home, and in 3 years her little sister will replace her as the wife of that wretched prince. Taishi noted that the girl, even with such a pretty face, speaks rather harshly. He activated the evaluating eye skill and he got a tablet with the girl's information. She is the first princess of the country of Misgronia. He didn't understand what he was supposed to do. Just an adventurer with a princess, not just for one night, but for several days now. He thinks she's still hiding something. She is worried about the knights and mercenaries, and he is sure she has left the noble country. Marl stated that he is going to continue in law and get stronger. He will become a feudal lord and target the mountain. She clarified if this was true. Taishi replied that it wasn't that he wasn't interested in it. He was also stunned that the word harem came out of the girl's mouth. Is such a thing as a harem acceptable, or is it for Marl? For her part, believes that it is not unusual for adventurous men to have multiple wives. It is easy to keep your mouth shut, and she means that the children of adventurers have fine genes. They often inherit high quality. Taishi didn't understand the ordinary things of this world. Adventurers often encounter situations that are life-threatening and die quite easily. Since the physical pressure is too high, it's hard to handle alone. Taishi thinks the best way is to show off her armor. Marl stated that she must be a little jealous because her first partner, Taishi, might be stolen by someone else. She doesn't say things like that to anyone else but him. Taishi didn't realize what was wrong with her. She was so cute. He put his arm around the girl and laid her down on the bed. Marl was embarrassed and asked if he would not let her sleep at night again. The guy replied that it was up to her. He pondered that if she was to be pursued, she would not be baked, and he would definitely make this girl happy. The girl's light crossbow, he decided to borrow it to cheer himself up. Because he had a shooting skill. Just by training without even allocating skill points, he could get a new skill. In order to save points, it would be better to learn it from the beginning with training. Marl announced that they had a mission to clean up the goblins, and that's what Utsu-san said. The other adventurers remarked that here comes the wizard. Now she has a better chance of survival. Taishi because it sounds like a warm greeting, but to be called a wizard. Marl stated that he looked like a celebrity. It's because he's been practicing magic for the past few days and maybe it made him stand out. If you think about it, he hadn't seen any wizards at the guild training ground. Ethan asked the boy if he also wanted to participate. Taishi agreed and asked if all the participants had participated. Ethan noted that everything was correct. Recently came another order of knights. Looks like they're going to wipe out the goblins along with the Knight Order and other units. He doesn't think it will be difficult. Uz stated that the mission for this one is to sweep away all the goblins. They are going to attack the goblin village in the forest, which is about halfway through the day if they walk from the city. The reward for destroying each goblin is 5 large copper coins. In addition, 2 silver coins per person from participating in this operation for the purges. But he's not going to pay for those who don't work, so let them mean it. The meeting will be held tonight when the night bell rings. The worst part is they can stay out all night in the woods for about 2 days, and they'd have to remember to bring their own food. He remembered something else. The guild's counter sold some great canned food at a low price. Taishi said that even though the Uts sometimes liked to joke around, they still had to be prepared. The girl thinks so too and agrees to prepare well for the assignment. Canned food for 3 days for both of them. They will also take a few spare blankets. The girl is clarified about the flashlight, and they should take one too, just in case. Next is a bag of water, though no, they have kidneys and can use them for water. Taishi asked Utz for 3 grand. The man said he didn't mind. If they had gone in a carriage but they were on foot, he wouldn't be able to carry that much. Taishi didn't realize it was so much. He put the coins on the table. Utz asked how many things he could put in his treasure box. Taishi doesn't know. He never takes too many things to fill it up. Marl notified the boy that it was time to move out. There was going to be quite a bit of searching and adventuring going on, with members of the knightly order in the background. Everything should be fine, and she and the girl gradually raised the levels in training. The number of weapons that can be handled has increased, and the girl has gained the skill of shooting. In that case, what adventures await them this time? Marl and Taishi looked at the girl. Marl remarked that she was beautiful. Taishi agreed, noting that she seemed to be a sorceress. Her magic is a system of skills capable of creating a fire blade. He would like to know how a real sorcerer fights. It would be nice to see her ability. He also thought about the fact that her breasts looked rather large. Marl noted that it looked like the guy was about to leave. A level 10 scout, a veteran adventurer followed by the main regiment of knights and newcomers like them following behind. The column went almost without problems. There seems to have been a few monster attacks. The knights protect it from the front, so the others cover the back. This arrangement protects their wizards. However, it's weird that before, when encountering goblins, even if you try to split them up, they only attacked a few units. And now it's so sudden and it doesn't make any sense. The guys alerted about the goblin horde and to get ready. The sounds of battle were getting closer. Did the front not hold? Ethan called the main squad into action. Taishi ordered the girls to stay back. Taishi killed them one by one. Suddenly, not all of them ran past. Taishi asked why on earth they were moving like that. The sorceress replied that it looked like they were running away from something. Marl grabbed Taishi by her blouse and said she had a very bad feeling. It was bigger than a goblin's height. Taishi realized that the girl was referring to the danger detection skill. Did she really detect something? Taishi told the girl that everything was fine. Suddenly, there was a scream. A dead fighter fell in front of them. Taishi wondered if what Cabrino was chasing was capable of such a thing. Something that attacks goblins and can kill a human with a single blow. Compared to goblins, it's a real monster. Taishi asked the girl if she was all right, asked her to calm down and take a deep breath. He asked her to tell him what it was. She needs to rely on her knowledge. The howls and screams are getting closer. This is not good. Marl replied that it's someone who feeds on goblins, that the existence where on the secret is a troll. One of the guys sat next to the dead body and stated that this quest was already a goblin hunt and he hadn't heard of such a thing. Taishi stated to be careful. However, the troll blew his head off. Someone shouted at him to stay out of the way and attack from the flank or rear. He's strong but clumsy. You have to watch his movements and dodge. Somebody's counterattack didn't work. He's overweight and wounded. They knew they had to take him down. One of the guys pointed out that his arm was broken. One of the guys urged the adventurers not to relax, rather than lose the knights. He suggested they run faster. Taishi noted that the girl told him weaknesses. From the glory of storage we have is set almost instantly, so against powerful fire, his regeneration won't be able to cope. Taishi is using a fire arrow. The other adventurers noted that he has fire and magic, and over one hit, he stopped regeneration. The troll roared. The others also started attacking him. Taishi also used a blast of energy. The guy with the sword jumped and slashed his head. The others happily noticed that he was killed. The troll was defeated. Taishi didn't realize what that just was. With a coordinated technique, use the shield as a stepping stone. Such a move is only possible by subduing for a long time battle with large monsters, which was to be expected from a knight. The knight noted that it was a good support. They had escaped with few losses and thanked Taishi. Taishi wanted to thank him for his answer, but 3 more trolls appeared. Taishi used a triple concentration of magic power, an explosion of energy. The knight said that he could handle all of them and ordered the wounded to retreat back. The guys didn't understand why the mage was getting in front of them. Taishi understood that Putsti Toll and more on the Uzi points are the same as in humans. The target is the head. Suddenly, a few more trolls arrived. One of them decided to attack Taishi, but he came back and struck back. There was another troll behind him. The guy divorced polling how many more there were, and he failed to get his staff out, which got stuck. He can't fight. It was very dangerous, bad business. He can't reach, so that leaves only the dagger. Magic is not only shooting. Let what strength is limited, at least he can run away. Suddenly, a crossbow arrow flew into the goal. It was Marl. She told Taisha to run away. Toot called her stupid and told her to run away herself. The troll switched to the girl and the guy ran to save her. He decided to concentrate the rest of his magic on that dagger and strike, laying down the last of his strength. However, the dagger broke. He has no more weapons. It remains to lay down magic in his fist. Taishi started throwing a lot of punches and managed to defeat the troll. He was very tired and collapsed on the ground. His ambassador was unharmed. Suddenly, the girl hugged him, sobbing. She asked him if he was hurt badly. So much blood. He reminded her of the healing, and that he had told her from the beginning that when the battle started, she should run away. He had managed to keep his promise this time, too. He told her he would protect her no matter what. Ethan showed up and said that he understood Mr. Taishi. He asked if he could lean on him too, to which Taishi told him to stop. It looked like it was all over. The knights handled the trolls too. The goblins seemed to have calmed down. However, 3 adventurers were killed, 7 wounded and 5 of them severely. 6 knights were moderately wounded and the rest were lightly wounded. But you can't gauge strength from wound statistics alone. Taishi began to treat the arm of one of the adventurers. The front was hot and he almost died. Taishi was happy to note that quest participants always help each other, which the boy agreed with. Taishi noted that he didn't even seem to have enough strength to hold a spear, and that it couldn't be fired. Isn't recovery magic universal? Taishi apologized to the guy for not being able to heal him completely. The boy thanked him, and that was it, noting that he was sorry we of the sorceress hadn't cured him. Taishi replied that it was a shame. Marl thanked Taishi for the job he had done. They had used healing magic countless times so they could relax. He was lucky that the 3 barrels of clean water he had collected helped with the healing. Even seriously injured, and he and the girl mage had recovered enough to take the return route without any problems. Taishi desperately tried to protect Marl Battle Troll and used the magic power on his body instead of a weapon. His magical fist skill had increased in strength. They were attacked by 6 trolls, and half of them he seemed to have killed alone. He decided that he could expect a considerable share of the reward, which pleased him. Marl noted that Mr. Taishi was happy. The knight thanked him, for it was thanks to him that they had survived. Taishi replied that it was not worth the thanks. The knight introduced himself as the first captain of the Knights of Paracresk, Waltz, and next to him was a girl who introduced herself as the Paracresk Mage Platoon, Lynette. Taishi also introduced himself. The knights noted that thanks to him, they had defeated the trolls with minimal losses and thanked him for that. Such strength is probably a B rank or even an A rank. Taishi replied that he actually has rank E. He only became an adventurer 10 days ago. This is his 2nd quest. Lynette noted that we have spells online and only defeated trolls with rank E. Waltz asked how much training he had to do before becoming an adventurer. Taishi replied that the masters in the village taught him how to use magic and fight. He came from another world and somehow a strange voice helped him, but he can't say why. Waltz noted that his success is very wet nights, and if he wants a reward, let him put his contact. Near the center square in South County in Flaming Then Return, he'll be there if you need him. He would be glad to see him again. Taishi noted that this was the end of the quest to mop up the goblin. Just in case, a few knights went out to scout after dawn. The goblin village was completely destroyed. Apparently these trolls did it, and so the first goblins escaped the trolls' attack. Some died, but they survived, and that's a victory. Marl asked Mr. Taishi if everything was okay. Is it possible that the knights have taken notice of him? The guy didn't know what it meant. The girl thinks that Mr. should not be introduced to such people. Taishi stated that no problem, he decided not to join the knights anyway. Even though he went to another world and got rid of a lot of things, he really hates it. Perhaps Marl is worried about the knights and mercenaries if there's any connection here. He still doesn't understand what's going on in this kingdom, something he's missing. Meanwhile, in this kingdom, not only in Calendale, even in the whole world, Eliad is the wielder of the most powerful force. And that is, who is this mysterious voice? He knew nothing about how to maintain his freedom in the new world. Marl and Taishi returned. People were happy to see them. Waltz stated that it had been hard to walk all day, and he apologized for that time. In exchange for the life of an irreplaceable adventurer, people should be protected, not knights. Taishi wondered if it was worth reporting this to the guild. Marl suddenly sneezed. Well, what the guy dragged away, did she have a cold? The girl replied that she was fine and called to go. It was the first time she had been on a multi-day raid, and of course she was tired. Suddenly, Ethan appeared and asked Taisha to wait. He's going to get some money to have a good time. Taishi asked if he knew how to have a good time. Ethan told him to shut up. He had killed 1 or 2 goblins. Uz welcomed everyone back. He was worried about what had happened when they went to the goblin village. He also asked if everything was intact. He was handed the cards and noted that 3 had died. It was suddenly so trolls, and if it wasn't for the knights, they would have all died. Uz noted that it was hard, and decided it was time to check all their cards. Taishi asked Ethan what would happen to the dead adventurers who had been taken away by the knights. The one replied that they were buried in the city cemetery, and personal belongings were given to the families of the dead. Taishi changed Uz's mind about his map and Marl's map. Uz started to check his list of victories, and was surprised to see that someone had defeated 3 trolls. He had already tampered with the map. Taishi said it was so rude. The guy Taishi healed his arm showed up and said it was true. He saw with his own eyes that fire magic. Another guy also replied that he also saw it clearly. Some other guys added that he also stabbed the other one with his staff. Marl added that he then tore up the last one with his bare hands. I think they overpraised him and he felt bad about it. Ethan called him a wizard. Uz didn't see that coming. Skin bone for armor, fat alchemist, meat, all of it would go for a personal price. The only disadvantage is that all of them have damaged heads, but even in this form will do. Taishi thought that trolls were expensive. Ethan asked the boy if he knew that magical monsters whose carcasses were brought to the guild were for sale. Of course, they fetch more than you can get on the market. Uz said it was a scheme to encourage lawyers to bring magical monsters to their guild. Taishi asked how much they would be. Uz replied that the reward for participating in the raid is 2 silvers. He can't tell the exact amount yet, but it's somewhere around 30 gold for the troll and another 5 for the conquest. The total sum is 105 gold, that's roughly. Marl was shocked that for just one quest, 105 gold. Taishi was hard to imagine. It wasn't comparable to an adventurer's salary. Taishi raised a glass of adventurers, and everyone supported him by drinking to the bottom. After he received the reward for the conquest, about 20 adventurers also announced their participation, and he stopped at a bar where he could eat and drink as much as he wanted after paying 5 gold coins. It's better than getting more expensive and for every dime. He was surrounded by girls. One of them said she heard that there was a troll killer and he must be a muscular guy. A second girl asked Mr. Taishi if he knew the secret of strength. Another girl asked him to tell them more of his adventures. Taishi noted that money was out of the question and that the guys were jealous of the situation. Marl put the bottle sharply on the table and said that today it was juice or free. Then let them try it, please. Taishi noted that he was finally home and walked over to the bed and noticed that the girl had already fallen asleep. He was used to this life, and before he came to this world and met Marl, he was just a normal 20-year-old guy on Earth. He had the same routine day after day, and here in the world of Eliad, it is thanks to the girl that every day is full of adventure. Marl loves him so much. Suddenly, he thanked her. Marl suddenly said that if he said so, then looking at other girls was unforgivable. Taishi was surprised she was awake. Marl asked him if he still preferred big breasts, if floppy breasts were better. Taishi tried to hold back a laugh, wondering if that was what she was worried about. Marl said of course not. Taishi hugged her and claimed she looked just like that and he was worried about her. During that quest when she jumped out, he wanted to stay calm. If he lost, he would lose the meaning of life in this world. That's exactly what he was thinking. Marl noted happily that he cared for her and it was true. Taishi asked her not to interrupt, then stated that the cocky guy was about to go at her. When the girl woke up the next morning, Taishi announced that the day was coming soon. Marl stated that staying up till the morning is brutal violence, while that the guy apologized. Marl also pointed out that if he didn't have birth control, she could have a baby. Taishi was horrified. The girl noted that she was an adventurer, and her guild used birth control magic. Female adventurers could use the guild's services if needed. One could get birth control magic in advance. It was clear to him now, but why? A pregnant female adventurer who is forced to stop adventuring is the reason. Taishi has come to the conclusion that the guild is losing experienced female adventurers. It's still strange, even if an adventurer gets pregnant and the group breaks up. The other adventurers disappear from sight. Finding a new group is hard enough as it is, and that explains it. Marl is now standing in a group with him and must be passed through a lot. Marl added that it seems that some vulgar demons are in human form, which is why most mothers study magic this way. Taishi was Shiroshi hearing such a thing and visualized the picture in his head. Marl asked him what that look was. It is quite normal for adventurers to marry. It happens all the time. Taishi noted that she was a girl he liked, and he wondered if he should marry Marlch, wondered if it would be interesting to find out more. Today they will find out how much they will give for the trolls. He asked the girl if she wanted a date. Marl was wildly excited about it, but the guy pointed out that she didn't want to. Marl took his friend and urged her to move. Truthfully, she was outraged why they were going straight to the armory. Taishi shared that he'd broken his dagger in yesterday's battle, and he was still unarmed. Cole greeted them for so much and asked what this time. Taishi asked if there was a sword that could withstand his magic. Kotu replied, asking what the budget was, to which the guy said, "Let's say 10 gold pieces, if there was anything." Marl was looking at knives. Suddenly in her day, Taishi showed up and noted that this one was good. It looks elegant. He'd just seen it. He also asked if the girl wanted to see the new crossbow. He thinks she'd like it. Within the budget, it's either this one or that one. All the others are much more expensive. Taishi pointed out that one ball has a large guard. If she's strong enough, the mithril sword. The mithril blade is tough, strong, straight, powerful, said not to melt, and finally has great magical power. So even if you put your own magic into it, it won't break. He likes that. He's decided he's going to take it. Taishi clarified that since he was buying such a cool sword, he could get a small discount. The cat asked about the mithril dagger he had seen earlier. The cat stated that his brother would ruin him. This dagger contains a gem of wind magic, and its power makes movement faster and the weapon lighter. Instead of 25 coins, he is willing to give for 24. Well, that doesn't help. Taishi gave exactly 24 coins. The cat said that it was unexpected. How come there are so many coins? Taishi said that he had sold the carcasses of 3 trolls and thought his parts would be on the market soon. Cat stated that his brother surprised him. Marl asked him what he had bought. The guy admitted that he was looking forward to trying it out. The girl also noted that he had bought that dagger for her, and it was nice. Honey asked if they could go for a walk. The guy really didn't understand where to. That the girl answered that he promised her a date. Waltz reports that in this quest of the Knights of the Crossroads Guild, the target was goblins. In addition to them, trolls were killed. The man he was talking to was Taishi Mitsuba. Marl noted that the dancer looked beautiful. The guy asked the girl if she wanted to dress up like that. The girl was dumbfounded. She really wants to dress up a little more clothes, maybe even a little luggage. Taishi noted that you can't wear clothes without storage. Taishi decided to see what was in his. He would like to see a girl in cute clothes too. He began to imagine her in different clothes, quite possibly seeing her. Marl urged him to go. Marl remarked that it had been a long time since she had shopped like this. Taishi had gone a little overboard. However, I learned a lot too. For example, I did that in this world most stores sell secondhand clothes. Sewing clothes is expensive, and ordinary people like them buy clothes when they can't make their own and sell them when others want to buy them. It's like a vicious circle. They had bought so many clothes that it was now mandatory to wear them, but tonight. Marl was very surprised. She asked the guy to wait and see if this was the outfit she really needed to wear. The guy pointed out that it was the same outfit the dancer wanted to wear. She told him to put it on himself, that he was a liar. He almost forgot another gift for her, after which he handed her this very dagger. The girl clarified if he was sure. The guy asked her to please accept it without objection. Different reasons because of that feeling as soon as he saw it, he wondered which one was first. Marl accepted this gift. People around clapped and congratulated them. May Mother Earth bless them. Taishi wondered if what was going on around him seemed a little strange. Perhaps it was some custom he didn't know. The girl from the inn showed up and I congratulated them on their return. And not even something to scold her brother for, Mithril offer means. She inquired of. Marl's happy if she agreed to something. She too, when she got the measure of wax from her husband, just blurted out. Marl was shocked to hear about her husband. The girl claimed to own a flaming anvil and her husband. Marl didn't know. Turns out they age slower than humans. Taishi apologized for blurting it out, but clarified that the gift of Mithril had some special meaning. The girls looked at it intently. The owner's wife asked why he had given it to her. Taishi stated that I showed you what it was and she liked it. Marl thought it was for her protection and it turns out that's why. The girl started crying with it. Taishi said he didn't understand Marl and asked Pinya, or rather the mistress, to explain it to him. She asked him if he really didn't know. Let him think with his head. Then a normal man gives a woman a mithril dagger, which means be mine and protect your chastity. Taishi that this is what we call my proposal. Taishi said it would be nice to have dinner. Pinya replied that she can't leave him alone with the girl he brought to tears. Taishi asked the girl to please listen to her. He mentally apologized to me for making me cry. I didn't know the gift would turn out to be of such importance. He apologized and took the dagger from her. Marl was horrified that he was apologizing for making false suggestions. Taishi urged himself to calm down to take you in hand, and decided that he would act directly. He got down on one knee and once more please asked her to accept it. The girl accepted the dagger. The hostess stated thank you all, but she had to go. Taishi asked Marl for this waterfall. The girl why she is so happy. Taishi noted that it was going to be a long night. Taishi woke Marl up with a kiss. The girl wished him good morning, and he wished her good morning too. They had a very fun night. The boys said hello to the hostess and asked if dinner was ready yet. The hostess also handed over a letter addressed to the boy. It was an invitation to visit the garrisoned knights and crossroads kingdom of Calendale. He asked the girl what she thought. Marl noted that the knights inviting isn't that great. He was worried about her reaction if the knight is their opponent, then he will ignore their invitation. Taishi asked Marl to stay in Benai until he could figure out what was going on. It's rare for things to happen in the guild. Marl asked him to take care of himself as well. Crossroads is one of the towns in the kingdom of Calendale. Every 5 years, a new patron is chosen. The candidate must be a nobleman and of a rank no lower than earl. As far as he could remember in this kingdom, the ranks are in descending order: duke, marquis, count, viscount, baron, quasi-baron. Everything he knows was told to him by a girl. He had come to the western region of Crossroads Kingdom Calendale to garrison the Knights of Crossroads. He sincerely didn't understand the reason why he was called here. Also checked his status while he waited for further events. A few training points had been accumulated. He wondered if he could raise his overall ball and bottom weapon skill to 4, raise his combat level to 3, and raise his magic to level 3 as well. Someone seemed to be coming towards him. The young man apologized for his expectations and asked him to fight him. Waltz pointed out to the winner, Taishi. The guy sincerely didn't understand why they had arranged this training. He's not only good at magic, but also at sword techniques. People like him are rare, and they respect people like him. The man stated that this is a sweat sword mastery. The man's name is Twaining, and he is the leader of the Knights of the Crossroads. He asked Taishi if he wanted to become one of their knights, or no, to become their kendo instructor. Finally, the boss shows up. I mean, a real nobleman. Taisha is honored, but he prefers the free and easy business of an adventurer, and his manners are a bit rough. Taishi asked what they were doing today. Twaining said that Waltz dealt with adventurers, and he wanted them to take a look at one together. Also, troll extermination, they want to reward him. There are legal restrictions on giving money directly, so they are asking to accept this as payment. A tray was handed to him and he clarified if he could see it. Taishi activated the appraiser skill. It's a rustic but beautiful stone. It's well made, carved with a pattern of what it might mean. He wondered if hiring an expedition was the right thing to do, and it turned out it was. The head of the knights remarked that he seemed to like the knife. Taishi thanked him. Twining noted that he had also heard that the guy was into magic. Taishi got the feeling that the true purpose of his arrival had not been revealed. They moved to the Callendale Royal Guard, the Magic Corps platoon of the Crossroads. He was met by Marks, the leader of the Magic Corps, an honorary baron, and greeted on behalf of the entire platoon. Taishi noted that there was a magical cavalry station near the range. He was pleased to meet Marks. Suddenly, Marks grabbed Taishi's shoulder, which startled him. He offered to sit down and discuss together with Mr. Twining. In front of Taishi was an orb, a magical object, digitized and shows a person's magical skills and abilities. A very expensive item. Taishi wondered if it would be bad if they found out about his skills now. Marks urged him to place his hand on the crystal ball. Tamshi decided there was no reason to refuse and held out his hand. His status appeared, nothing special at first glance. Taishi remarked that it was amazing. However, everyone looked at him very seriously. Marks noted that he had a name like that and asked where he was from. Taishi stated that he was from DQ. Why did he ask? Definitely he must be a noble of the family, though he wouldn't say so himself. Taishi didn't know what to do as the conversation took a bad turn. The guys noted that he's level 12. The magic power and the amount of it is incredible. Kendo and longsword at level 4. Could he still be at that level before coming here? Waltz looked at him closely and stated that he was a definite hero. Taishi said that they are wrong. It's not really like that. Her parents are from a normal family. Twining replied that he was giving up, but numbers can't be fooled, so it doesn't matter where he's from. Every time a good person gets a new level, their ability value grows by internal units. He has a particularly high magic power. To have such an indicator is abnormal. He is nothing less than a hero. Taishi stated that I had taken and clarified what happens to those who become heroes. Marks replied that first of all, they have a number of responsibilities. The first is to report their location. The hero is obliged to inform the chapter or guild where he is. In addition, governments can send requests and they must be answered. Government requests must be fulfilled. This was the first duty in addition to the second, more troublesome. What happens if his requests? Twining stated that, of course, there are other advantages. One of them is the freedom of movement. He can move freely between countries. Traveling is much easier. There's something else about the second obligation. When he's on government assignments, all expenses are the responsibility of the state he's in. For example, if his pro is some kind of lawyer, then such an application does not count. Taishi understood, although I expected more restrictions. But still, the hero supports not only Callendale, but the country he's in. He wondered what threatened the world so dangerously. Twining that the country needs a force of heroes, and it won't stand for the price. Most of the requests are for the destruction of troublesome monsters. Taishi noted that forbid the country's heroes act simply as a force to fight monsters. He asked that they don't think he's pursuing a backwards agenda. He doesn't want to fight with the government. Such stories were his in the world, such as the end of the hero. Twining stated something wisely. He would be sent to the capital later to officially register as a hero. He also encouraged everyone to celebrate the birth of the new hero and ordered all the mothers to get to work. Marks noted that he was the first hero in Callendale in the last 50 years. It would be hard for him, but let him try, and then he would apologize too. Taishi smelled something. Knowledge is power. He needed to ask some questions of a professional mage. Taishi asked the guys if they could tell him a little about magic. Taishi stated that he is almost self-taught. Other than the 4 basic attributes, you pure magic, are there anything else? Lynette replied that she wouldn't tell him what they know. He thought that being a servant was absolutely disgusting, but maybe it measure arranged differently. Though no, it is his life and he will live it as he sees fit. Marl noted that Mr. Taishi had returned, and she asked what he'd been told. Taishi replied that he had been certified as a hero. Uz asked if that was true. Taishi said that he might have to go to the capital soon to be officially certified. The other adventurers didn't believe if he was joking. Taishi replied that unfortunately not, and a status check confirmed that he was a hero. Check with the girl to see if she is okay. Marl stated that being a hero in this country is a very serious matter, and does he realize it? Some masked men stated that they understood. Their destination is the intersection, and their target is the hero Mitsuba Taishi. Uz remarked that it was a big deal, and then Marl glared at him. He apologized to her because he couldn't share her anger. Marl led him along. He didn't understand why. Why the hell dash everyone was so serious? Heroes are a mutation in the human race rumored to be one in hundreds of 1 million, or even 1 million. Their physical strength is normal, but their magical strength is 2 to 6 times that of a normal human. According to a treaty made 500 years ago, heroes do not belong to any particular nation. They are a worldwide force to combat the threat to the human species. Each country is involved in protecting and supporting the heroes. They also say that the Demon King who conquered the world in the past was also a hero. Marl said she didn't know what it would be like to be a hero in this country. Heroes fight the strongest monsters across national borders. In fact, it's a system of beating the hero for not being able to control them. Taishi clarified that it turns out a hero is a disfavor to society. Marl confirmed it, saying that one hero is comparable to the army of an entire country. A country is a serious danger. If a hero with that kind of power starts a riot, then the army will be without strength, and if the hero also has the support of the citizens, then he can easily overthrow the ruler. That's why the royal family and nobles are afraid of heroes. For them, it is more peaceful to exterminate the uncontrollable as soon as possible. What will be the enemy's first move, intelligence or else? Taishi stated that no, not that. It's impossible to kill him. Then the real reason why there have been no heroes in this state for the last 50 years is because the Kingdom of Mystery has been destroying them even before registration. He'd heard that theory. Now he understood Marl's reaction about the hero's end, but he didn't understand why he would go that far, even though he wasn't very familiar with the traditions and beliefs of this country. One of them said that some deeply religious nobles believed that heroes disturbed the harmony of the world. Taishi clarified if there are anti-heroes who hunt heroes. Believing in the god of the notified royal family is how the kingdom has been killing adventurers, certified as heroes for over 50 years. Even though Marl belongs to the royal family of another country, her authority here is great. Taishi lives that he's not going to let them kill him for such a reason. He clarified if she really felt that way, if they were really coming to kill him. Marl stated that such a possibility was not out of the question. The girl inquired what he planned to do. Status skills are already more marked. Based on this information, he can assess his strength. He still has a chance if the reasoning is correct and the kingdom we sent out to kill after him. Then what should he do first? Taishi clarified with the girl that defeating monsters contributes to the level increase about leveling up and making stronger is correct. Marl replied that when you level up, the hero's strength increases to a greater extent. She realized that it was an idea to use her strength to protect herself. Taishi stated that to a point, they are going to go at least on the monsters right now. He needs to get stronger and increase containment. It would also reduce the risk of the girl being taken hostage. If you can't do it by force, you have to use stealth. Taishi announced that he was going camping and asked the girl if she would go with him. She honed in on whether they were running away, to which the guy replied that it was for the first time. Marl stated that where Mr. Taishi goes, so does she. Suddenly, he hugged the girl and apologized. If he acts carelessly, the whole kingdom will turn against him, and he got the girl involved. By the way, maybe the original reference to the night was a mistake. The beginning of the goblin sweep is so endlessly debatable but lonely. He's so happy that he's paying it off now. Taishi thanked Marl for supporting him. He needs to buy weapons, spare weapons, and weapon care supplies, and lastly food as well as magic items. He clarified how difficult it was to merge with the guild. Marl said you can't. The guild is under the authority of the kingdom, so they won't get anything. The main purpose of the guild is to identify heroes, to use adventurers to kill monsters, and also to identify heroes who will achieve outstanding results. Population control, human resource development. Human resource development, human resource security, cheap labor, and truth solutions are effective on many criteria at once. Whoever invented and believes this system, they are damn smart. Taishi. The guy pointed out that he hadn't paid for this place either. The landlady was shocked. He's going to rent a house in the city, had made an offer and were now going to sit down, to which she agreed. The hostess asked where they would be staying. Taishi replied that in the crossroads and apologized he would get in touch as soon as he had settled. They would not be leaving at dawn tomorrow. The landlord felt abandoned. He thinks it will be a few days before they realize they escaped from the crossroads. He and Marl skipped town. It was best not to even think about what they had just accomplished. He had generously gathered supplies for the camp, and less than 50 gold had been spent. There was nothing to be done about the kind of appetite he had. First of all, they lived these beyond the reach of the Knights of the Crossroads. Marl suggested he head into the southeastern forest. Heard that deep in the great forest there is an ancient ruin, and if they go through the forest, they will soon find themselves in the Kingdom of Micronia. The Kingdom of Micronia, unlike other countries tends to protect the heroes. According to historical sources, the ancestors of the royal family were also heroes like many aristocrats. The perfect country for people like them. Taishi declared something was getting interesting and wouldn't look at it until they headed for the ancient ruins. Taishi, check with the girl to see if she can handle it. Let her take her time and I'll only do that when he's really close. Taishi noted that she dodged well, but the blow itself leaves much to be desired. Maybe she's afraid of hurting living things. Marl asked Mr. Taishi what he would tell her. First of all, she must learn how to handle a dagger. The girl pledged that she would try. The sun had set. Taishi asked the girl if she thought it was a good place for a penis. Marl noted that so close to the forest and attacked by non-predators. Taishi said they would unless they made a magic shield. Fleeing from the city, he asked the guild for a useful Baya camp magic. Magic barrier level 3, increased magical power recovery level 2. Marl stated that it was incredible. This magic is material so it can touch the shield. Internal security and will withstand even a troll attack. And now he's offering to eat. Marl notes that it's delicious. Mr. Taishi noted that it's so lush. Marl shared that it's so nice to cook with Mr. Taishi, fresh ingredients and seasonings. The guy noted that she enjoys cooking, but also asked if she enjoys cooking. Marl's got it in her head that she's a taster. If you wrap the meat in bread, it's twice as good. Taishi took her up on her offer. When he sits like this with a girl, he forgets that they're now traitors. In 3 days of monster hunting, he reached level 16 and Marl level 7. Now I don't cut goblins in two. The girl learned new ball skills, and he gained skills like stealth and awareness. The princess's scouting and survival skills have gotten even better. He's glad she's stronger, but at the same time he feels guilty. And he also gained the magic eye skill and raised his food resistance to the maximum level 3. Just in case he has a string of skills, as he can cleanse himself of toxins if he doesn't die immediately. On the 3rd day of their escape, the boys reach the ruins. It reminds them of a temple. It's beautiful in the sense of an incredibly beautiful place, but he doesn't see any signs of life. It's strange that no one has settled here yet. Perhaps it's because the area around the temple is a sanctuary and the barrier set up in ancient times still works. There are skeletons everywhere, lots of skeletons. It looks like they were all preying on this platform. However, there's no damage, and that's strange. He called out to the girl, but the girl asked him not to yell so suddenly. Taishi urged her to see what ring. It increases magical power, reduces magic damage. He thinks there must be a lot of treasure here. Besides hunting monsters, the second important source of income for adventurers is treasure hunting. He found some more useful things. Maybe the girl needed some magical accessories. Looking at her, he wondered if I wasn't feeling well. Marl tried to convince you that she didn't think they were cursed. There was a mountain of these accessories. Marl can't do that. Taishi replied that they were no longer useful in the dead man's world, and removing them was part of the funeral service. He'll probably wear the reinforcement ring, and the girl should pick something for magic. He wondered if he could put in a magical vault to sell later, but if more interested in the idea. He wanted to give the girl something, but he saw her praying and joined her. The boys looked at the statue, and Taishi suggested that maybe it was the god they worshipped. As Marla thinks, for now she's not sure. Let's say a god they worshipped in the past, but have stopped now. It's possible. An expert on ancient civilizations would know, but unfortunately she knows very little. Taishi still couldn't understand something. Suddenly, the torches lit up. The guys didn't realize it was probably an illusion. People appeared and started asking to send them a hero. They started killing themselves. Taishi didn't understand what was going on here. Suddenly, a guy rose into the sky. Everyone started calling him a hero, and then everything disappeared. Taishi asked Marl if all heroes were summoned by such rituals. The girl answered that heroes are just talented people who are rarely born. They can't just be summoned. In this world, the strongest are the heroes. They're people with a mutation summoned from another world. Who was the hero they summoned? Guys are tired, no clues. Why they built that temple, who the boy in the sky was. A mystery is a mystery because you can't solve it without clues. Perhaps he could solve it if he acted like he did in the normal games. Taishi noted that he might have been summoned like that hero. The day they first met, he was in a field not near the crossroads. There was nothing around. He had only a little money and minimal possessions on him, so he decided to become an adventurer. He confessed to Marl that he was not of this world. Before that, he had lived in a completely different world. That was a peaceful world without monsters, magic, and it had been 50 years without wars. He clarified if she knew that, so he wasn't ordinary. Marl placed her hand on his and stated that he would always be Mr. Taishi to her, her dearest person. If this moment could last forever, how happy he would be. Suddenly, Marl was hit by an arrow. The girl fell. After that, a wall of arrows flew at the guy too, but he used a windshield and defended himself. Taishi asked Marl to hold on. He didn't understand if they were serious. How could they be so fast? Despite running into town to confuse, they somehow managed to catch up to her so quickly. This was getting a little too weird. He turned to the girl and stated that he would treat her now. He didn't understand what was wrong with her and asked her to open her eyes. He asked her to open her eyes, but the girl was dead. He looked at the arrow. It was poisonous and lethal. He couldn't believe the girl was dead. Marl was everything to him. The girl who suddenly appeared to him when he came into this world. Unexpectedly, this runaway girl had made him who he was now. It was the relaxed and free Marl that he loved more than anything in the world. But most of all, he didn't know how warm it was to have someone who thought of her all the time. She was able to love and accept him for who he was. There is no one like Marl in this world or his world anymore. Perhaps he had come to this world just to meet Netsu. So much so, he thought. He asked the girl to open her eyes and not to leave him alone. He was surrounded by the men who killed the girl and said it was his turn. He realized that these freaks had killed his Marl. What other country to know because of stupid stuff like that? The guys asked him what was the matter, if he had decided to let them kill him in peace. Taishi drew his sword and remembered his Marl. They asked him if he had decided to tackle them alone. What would he even be able to do alone? However, Taishi didn't care. In his head, it felt as if an immense darkness was covering everything. Taishi screamed that he would kill them all, those freaks who killed his Marl. The only thing going through his head was that those freaks had killed Marl. They had taken his world from him. Taishi had massacred almost everyone, and there was only one girl left. As he remembered his Marl, the girl tried to run away. Taishi told her not to think she could escape from him, and then launched an ice bullet at her. He grabbed the girl and clarified, "They came to kill him, didn't they? In that case, they had to be prepared to be killed." The girl asked that they didn't have to. They were just following orders. Taishi noted that she had decided to beg for mercy. He wouldn't kill her if she told him the whole truth. However, he struck her with lightning. If she tries anything, let her be prepared that he could kill her at any moment. Whether she starts talking or not is irrelevant. He will kill her either way. He's ordered her to tell now. They, the Kalandir Kingdom's assassin squad, had been ordered to kill the hero Taishi Mitsuba and his companions. Taishi clarified if the girl wanted to say that the country had such a unit. The girl replied that they were originally chosen from the Order of Knights and began training them as assassins, a sort of special forces unit. Eventually, they were given the name janitors. They may be a special forces unit, but they're part of the army of the Kingdom of Kalandir. Taishi notes that what she means to say is that the Kingdom of Kalandir ordered them to get rid of them. The girl states that it's a little different. The assassination squad invented specifically to kill the hero was created by knowing. He didn't understand how they managed to figure out their location so quickly. They were told that the head of the Knight's Order had given him a hunting knife, and by following him, they were able to come to the ruins. Taishi remembered that knife. But how could it be? Because it was definitely not supposed to be affected by special magic. It's a secret seal technique. There was probably a special pattern on the apple of his sword. This rune allows you to identify the location it is sealed to. Taishi noted that she blurted it out so easily, and yet she calls herself an assassination squad. They weren't worth a dedicated egg. Everything he wanted, he had already heard. That woman's no good to him now. And besides, Marl's dead. Taishi ordered her to disappear. Nothing else matters. Now in this world, he only lives for revenge. Nothing else has any relevance anymore. Suddenly, Marl called Taishi by name. The girl stood leaning against a column. He noted that she was alive. She had survived. Marl didn't understand how it had happened either. Perhaps it was all due to the ring on which the spell had been cast. It was a ring of divine protection. The spell cast prevents a fatal wound only once, exhausted. A ring capable of giving lethal protection only once. Taishi hugged the girl. He was overjoyed. Marl saw the man behind his back. Taishi admitted that he had done it, but she didn't have to worry. It's okay now. He'll protect her from everything. He's glad she's okay. It's for the best. At that moment, Waltz and his knights appeared in the ruins. He asked if Mr. Taishi was all right. He noted that he was apparently fine. That's when he saw the bound girl. Taishi urged him not to be an innocent sheep. The Order of the Knights of the Kingdom of Kalandir had sent assassins after him. Waltz didn't understand what Mr. Taishi was talking about. Taishi stated that this woman was the assassin who had come for his head. That's his associate. Knights clarified that she was the only one left. Does he mean the other 12? Waltz stated that Taishi-san has the rights to be angry. However, he wants him to try to understand. The Kingdom of Kalandin is not only trying to hurt him, but also trying to protect him. Taishi noted that in the event that the assassination squad was to carry out their mission, they would have to come to trick him into a truce. He clarified if that is what they have in mind. Waltz stated that it wasn't true and that he had completely misunderstood everything. Taishi noted that he was telling him to believe him anyway. It turns out the Knights of the Land are just as devious as the assassins. It's like meeting at a crossroads and offering to travel together, then killing them in their sleep. Taishi declared that he would kill them all. However, Marl hugged him and stopped him from making the attack. She asked him to calm down. She realizes that it may have become harder for him to trust them now. Then making an enemy out of the Kalandir kingdom is unacceptable. He might try to trust Commander Varutsu again. Were they not comrades who had defeated the troll together? Taishi noted that there was some truth in Marl's words. After all, the captain was their battle buddy. The boy agreed, to which the girl thanked him. The girl asked Captain Warts if they could trust him. Waltz got down on one knee and declared that he swore on that sword. The second day after they left the ruins, as they headed inside the forest, they managed to spray the magical items they happened to find, and thus they returned to the town at the crossroads. Taishi inquired about the condition of that assassin. They treated her wounds with healing magic. The girl screamed and asked to be kept away from her. It was an expected reaction even though she was a professional assassin, but she had failed in her mission. They still don't know who the ringleader of the assassins is. What the hell is the head of the nobles thinking? He's probably trying to decide what's going to happen to the assassination squad. Furama forces. It says there's a reward and punishment for attempted murder. She'll probably have to take the appropriate punishment. Marl couldn't believe if this girl was going to be okay. The information about those freaks who wanted to kill Marl? Why would he even want to know that? Taishi said the best solution would be to hand her over to them. Ethan saw Taishi. It had been a long time since he had seen him. Where had he been all this time? Ethan asked the guy what was wrong. Taishi replied that it was nothing. Ethan apologized. Apparently, he had interfered with his date with his bestie. He suggested he might take a mission together again sometime. It's every day, it's just idle talk. He could feel himself growing more and more distant from it. Uz noted that he should have thought about why he'd been gone for over a week. Well, for starters, he's glad they're okay. Otherwise, he was starting to worry. Taishi too, he never thought he'd have to go to the guild again. Is it just him, or has the old man Uz lost some weight? I wonder if the old man works here. If he's also connected to the minions of the kingdom of Kalandir. Did he really care about them that much? Uz noted that the boy had brought quite a lot of different materials and gave him his reward. Taishi thanked him for his assessment. He couldn't say for sure what the future held for them. So the materials they got from the monsters they met in the ruins should be sold before the end of the day. Uz asked what their plans were for the day. Taishi stated that he was going to rest all night tonight. Plus, a visit to the Order of Knights is required first thing tomorrow morning. Uz almost forgot. He gave them back their adventurer cards. Taishi was now an A-rank adventurer, and Devchom had an E rank. He congratulated them on their rank increase. Uz asked them what they were going to do now. For starters, Taishi will see how things go for him personally. This country can eat shit, but it all depends on how they perform in the future. If it wasn't for that ring, Marl would be dead right now. It's not something you can just take and forgive. Uz asked him what he would do if the honor was wrong. Taishi pointed out that it was obvious that he would just get out of this country. Did he think the country would let him escape so easily? What he will do if that happens is obvious. Taishi said that if that happens, he will start an all-out war. The hostess said that it seemed like they hadn't seen each other for over a week, so they had come to eat. Taishi said they were staying overnight, but first they just wanted to sleep. The landlady asked if they had rented a house. Taishi replied that it was a lie, but there were some circumstances. The landlady said they could use the room they had before. Even Okami-san came to cause trouble. Even though he gave her a unicorn, he still had to lie. A week ago, everything was going to be so quiet and peaceful. In this very room, they were talking about all sorts of silly things, and there was an air of calm. If he'd only thought about earning money or training, and if he'd only thought about Marl, things might have turned out differently. He killed 12 people with his own hands. But they still tried to do the same to him. They wanted to take away someone dear to him, and naturally he wanted revenge. Kidnapping, murder, destroying his freedom, his rights. That's why he couldn't be called bad. Taishi tried to convince himself that he wasn't bad, since he's in another world and you already thought he could live freely without any rules. Why shouldn't he get used to this feeling? I don't know if all his actions have led to this. Because he was recognized as a hero, the country began to chase him. A killer began to aim for his life. Because Marl ran away with him and had to put her life on the line. If he hadn't taken a cooler approach in the beginning, if he hadn't defeated the troll at that moment, if he didn't think he was the protagonist of a fantasy world, so why did this happen? Taishi asked the girl why she was sitting in the dark. Marla, crying, asked him why he killed all those people. Taishi replied that it was because they were hers. He didn't wish for something like that. If she had known something like this could happen then at that moment, if she hadn't chosen him, things might have turned out better. She wouldn't have had to run away with him. Just because she was with him, she died. Taishi woke up abruptly from a nightmare of screaming Imo girl. He noted that it was just a dream. Marl appeared in the room and dragged the guys awake. She too had only recently woken up. Taishi asked the girl directly if she was disappointed in him. Marl wondered why he had asked that. Taishi pointed out that he killed people with those hands and thought the girl was dead, so he killed as many as 12 people. Surely even the killer's family siblings are the ones he doesn't like. Just like he thinks that Marl. Even so, with these hands he ended his existence. He did something that can't be undone. Marl said he did it all for her and to protect her, and he had to kill them. If she were in his shoes, she'd probably think the same thing, so he shouldn't blame himself for it. The only one to blame for all of this was her. Taishi was outraged at the stupidity of it. He thinks it's not true, it's not wrong, and why would she say such a thing? He was so scared, he gave in to his feelings and started destroying everything in his path. Giving in to emotions is not the answer, and he realizes it. He probably lost consciousness at that moment, and would not have been able to wake up until he had destroyed something. Marl told the guy that she was there for him, and she would be there for him all the time. Taishi is that you're just a sourpuss, sitting there in front of a girl crying, and she's always comforting him and forgiving him no matter what. His interlocutor is a girl who's only lived half of what he's lived. If you look at it from the perspective of his former self, it's unthinkable. Taishi apologized to the girl. She didn't understand why it was so sudden. Taishi pointed out that if he looked at it from the beginning, it wasn't hard to realize that he was the cause of their problems. He was glad she was alive, but at the same time, he was terribly guilty. This whole situation only happened because of his actions, and despite all this, she continues to forgive him no matter what. The girl gave him a slap. She pointed out that after all, her Taishi-san wasn't such a crybaby. Her Taishi, the hero she admires so much, is actually very, very powerful. If he can't know that all by himself, he's in big trouble. Taishi replied that he understood. Really glad the girl is the way she is. She supports his heart so deeply and strongly because of her he can live without losing his self. The boy thanked her. Marl remembered that he wasn't from this world and they said he might be the supposed hero. She was glad he'd told her about himself. And it was just that before, when I wanted to know more about him, he'd always been very cold. Taishi wondered if he was really that cold. Marl asked the guy if he wanted to know more about her, like her real name or if she was really a princess. He's only doing what he's doing to cause him problems, puddle him, and get him into all sorts of trouble. She's a terrible woman. Taishi asked her if she would let him know more about her. He too wants to know everything about someone he cares about very much. Marla started from the beginning. As it turns out, my real name is Mahler Vran Misgronia. The first princess of the kingdom of Misgronia is the second heir to the throne. Apparently, she was to be wed to a prince marquis of the neighboring kingdom of Gebrus, but decided to escape through a subject passage in the royal treasury. As she was running away, she accidentally broke the orb of the oracle, accepting that result. Taishi didn't understand what the orb was. Marl explained that with it, whoever used it would be able to receive divine sight and thus be able to see his bright future. Simply put, it's a magical item. This object was given to people from God himself. It is called an authentic artifact. It is an orb of the oracle. However, it is clear that it is a magical object. But even if you hold it in your hands and pray, nothing will happen. It will be the same if he just regrets something, and it's easier to say no one knows how to use. This time humiliated the treasure trove with everyone forgotten. It would have occurred to anyone at all to use this balloon, it had to be broken. Taishi, with the same thing that happened afterwards, she heard a voice. He might not believe her, but the voice was coming from inside her head. Taishi remembered the voice of the god he had heard in the beginning. The boy wondered what the voice was telling her. In the kingdom of Kalandir, there would be an adventurers guild at the crossroads, where a man with black hair and eyes named Taishi would appear, and that she would need to tempt him. That's what that voice said the other day. Taishi wondered if I really believed it. Marl said she couldn't trust him at first, of course, but she didn't have much choice anyway. The voice had helped her a lot, and that was how she had finally reached the crossroads. She also fell in love with Taishi at first sight. Taishi thought she was so cute. After a few moments, he called her a real demoness, though no demoness was an understatement. The girl didn't know what he was talking about. If he kept praising her like that, she would get even hotter. When he started whimpering smarter in front of her eyes, she thought that in this state he would be complete and submissive. And now he's so cute. The next morning came. Taishi noted that he had taken to picking everything out for the girl, although a little true, but now he kind of felt like he had gotten in shape. However, there is something that needs to be checked out. Taishi called the voice of God. The voice noted that the guy finally called him. Taishi decided to ask him directly if he told the girl to meet him. The voice said that she's a good-looking girl. Taishi doesn't think so, but rather than him ordering her to fall in love with him. The voice said it's just her taste preference. Well, he took a very cute girl like that and fucked her properly. After that, the guy turned the voice off. It sucks knowing that some suspicious person you took has a girl. I just can't believe him. The voice belonged to a girl. She noted that it had been so long since he'd called her, and now he'd just passed out. What can you take from him? But you can't get tired of watching him. She urged him to come to her as soon as possible. Marl asked Taishi if he had decided what they were going to do today. Taishi said there was nothing left to do but go. There would be guards with them, so even if they tried to escape, it would be useless. Marl understood him and suggested they go pack. The hostess pointed out that they were leaving already. Wouldn't it be better for them to rest a little longer? The boys announced that they were going to the imperial capital. Marl thanked her mistress for taking them in. Pinya wished them a pleasant journey. Marl noted that Taishi had done all this for her, so she was the only one here. Even though she said so, the only one who killed them was him. There was no changing that, and he would never forget that sin. However, if she could forgive him. He remembered the girl Furama, if he could atone for the girl in any way. But no, that won't do. Even if he buys the panel, No will look like he wants to be forgiven. Maybe if she wants to and buy her sin, but she may not want to. The sorceress apologized to him. He didn't understand why the sudden scare, pointing his boyfriend's very scary face. Taishi apologized. He was just too stressed out, that's all. Not all people in the kingdom are bad, but as expected within the royal army, there may have been such unrest due to a great crime. Because there is this problem within the atmosphere, there is a lot of tension. The sorceress said that Commander Tovaning sent him a letter. In the letter, it was written that during the investigation of what happened in those ruins, a squad led by squad leader Varutsu was sent there. After the report of the troll killing was sent from the higher commanders in the army, an order was given to stamp the item to be presented as a Medal of Valor. He thought it was very suspicious, but according to the status check, it was confirmed that he was a hero. At that moment, orders were given from higher commanders not to approach the hero for the time being, pending further instructions. Indeed, it is very strange. And so he immediately began to investigate and learned that an illegal squad called the Purifiers are targeting the hero. Immediately, he tried to take measures to protect himself, but immediately it became known that they escaped from the crossroads, and using the seal was sent the first squad to help. Taishi say it all has something to do with it. In other words, the kingdom know when the hero assassination squad received the report of the troll's elimination, most likely they had already started plotting his assassination then. But it's too little information to judge that from the letter alone. Marl agreed with him, but if you jump to conclusions too quickly, there's a good chance that the army itself made the decision. That's the problem. Thinking about time, it turns out that all the actions that happened too quickly. And if the elimination of the trolls was borrowed on the first day, the attack on us was already on the 6th day. We need to analyze their past actions. On the first day, they had a party, drank, ate, and then fell asleep. Most likely that was the day the troll elimination report was left. The second day was spent all day with a girl on a date. If the captain had not started preparing the hunting knife that day, he would not have made it in time. On the third day, they went to the Order of Knights, where they checked his status and ruled out that he was a hero. That day, he and the girl prepared the equipment for the trip. And on the 4th day, they left the city early in the morning. And after 3 days, they arrived at the ruins, and on the 6th day, before half a day had passed, they were attacked. And yet, it was too fast. And the action was too fast. And in any case, it is necessary to relate the whole conversation. Taishi agreed with the girl. If they didn't connect the entire conversation beforehand, it might be possible to figure out the next time they decided to stab him in the back. For starters, it would be nice to get through this whole trip without any accidents. The carriage stopped, the coachman saying that they would take a break in this area. Taishi noted how close they were to the royal capital after all. He finally had a moment to himself. It had been a while since he had checked his status and abilities. Since it was unlikely that he would know when they would be attacked next time and how much I would use, it would be best to maximize his poison resistance to the 3rd level. The presence and danger senses should also be pumped up to level 3. Resistance to poison and danger senses pumped now will not be able to check only one, and so the first thing he will try out is the sense of presence. Being in the center and feel how strong and how many people are here, finally he will be able to use this ability. If the person's name and appearance match, they will basically be able to figure out who the presence belongs to. It's a very handy ability. I guess if he gets the stealth ability, he will be able to avoid those who use presence and danger senses. Now he wants to increase his production abilities. He had a great idea. If the kingdom could apologize to him, then he would ask them for a mansion to have his personal workshop there. On the 2nd day after leaving the crossroads, they arrived at the capital of the Arfeng kingdom. Taishi was shocked by the sight. The capital city has about 170,000 people. But if you take in the adventurers and attempted traders who live in the slums, the number of inhabitants exceeds 200,000. The capital is surrounded by 4 fortress walls, and now their carriage is on the edge of the fourth wall, which is still under construction. There are many different shops and inns standing side by side in this area, making it a bustling place. Here you can even find a marketplace with slaves. If you go even further into the year, you will also find the so-called commoners' quarter. Here, in contrast to the edge of the wall, you can find more high-quality stores, hotels, and workshops of various craftsmen. Inside the third wall are rows of even more first-class stores and inns. Among them, one could find various government offices of the church, even schools for the study of magic. In other words, public buildings. Here you can also find luxurious stores and houses of the soldier who serves the castle houses of commoners, who have reached the title of knight. Inside the second wall, you can say that it's mostly the nobility's neighborhood. There you can constantly see people in expensive clothes and guards guarding them. Perhaps adventurers and the like don't have much to do in this neighborhood, so they are not mostly found there. And finally, what he came to see was a huge castle. Walt stated that this is where their escort ends, so the gentleman needs to be careful. Taishi thanked them. He also decided to talk about what happened in the ruins. Wart stated that he didn't need to worry so much, because if he were in his place, he would think the same thing. He told him to keep Mrs. Marl safe. After that, they shook hands and said goodbye. After saying that, Captain Warts and the first squad left. The maid asked them to make themselves at home. If they had any requests, please don't tell her, and she would do their bidding. Taishi noted that it felt like a royal palace. He turned to the girl and noted that it would be better to go to the audience armed with weapons. The girl agreed that it was indeed better not to take it with us. He inquired about her mithril short sword. She asked him not to worry about a clean sword. The red cloth is tied to the ball, and it means, and I swore purity to my partner. So please don't ask her to marry him. That's the signature. So carrying it in front of royalty would not be considered rude. Taishi replied that that's how it is, if he had asked the shopkeeper's cat beforehand. The guy weaned the maid could she take his weapon for safekeeping. The maid obeyed him. The other maids apologized to him for waiting and asked him to follow them. Taishi urged himself to pull himself together, and the girl encouraged him to take it easy and feel confident. Marl asked the boy if he had forgotten who she really was. She is the princess of the kingdom of Miscronia, Marielle Brand Miscronia. Taishi apologized to the princess. The girl took his hand and announced that his audience would be held here. The maid announced that I was ready to receive them in the throne room. They were met by the ruler of the kingdom of Carindil, Carindil 41st. The ruler called them to rise from their knees. Taishi asked for permission to introduce himself. His name is Taishi Mitsuba. The governor noted that he looked sensible and asked the girl next to him to introduce herself. Marl said she was glad the emperor was in good spirits. She is Taishi-san's guide, Maru. Truth be told, they haven't seen each other in 3 years, and she thanks him for the re-invitation. Still, even the emperor this time can't oppose the other royal family, also on the second princess kingdom. The ruler ordered everyone except the Zontak to leave the hall. The emperor recognized her as Princess Mariella. The girl has a proposal. The emperor stated that he would listen to them. Marl thanked him. Expressing that, then about today's visit, let him pretend that nothing had happened. Lord Taishi passed the palace so that you could recognize him as an adventurer. There is no other reason for their arrival. In other words, the fact that he was attacked by a mercenary place needs to be opened, and something else the attack on the first princess of Miscronia was also not. Thanks to the adventurers, they don't have a scratch on them. The emperor didn't understand what they wanted to accomplish. The emperor understood what they wanted to achieve by this. Marl said that first of all, in order for such a mistake to be unique, everything had to be done thoroughly, and also the request to keep everything secret. The emperor agreed to go along with the plan, but about their whereabouts. Marl said that if they were to return to the country, she would have to tell every single detail. If it became public that the princess of another kingdom had been attacked, war could break out. What she's asking is that no one knows the attack was planned and that Miscronia doesn't recognize her presence. Here are 2 conditions. So that there will be no discord between neighboring countries. Making it look like nothing happened for the kingdom is not a difficult request. The emperor replied that he understood and they are doing all theirs. Marl stated that she is grateful to the emperor, and now about Taishi-san. The emperor stated that he would listen to his request. The guy urged himself to calm down, just need to voice his request, And moreover, it will be beneficial to them too, so they need to attract favor. Taishi asked for permission that if possible, he would like to use the capital as a stronghold, where the locals are greeted with a smile. The capital is a place of great infrastructure. For him to work in such a beautiful place would be wonderful. It can be dangerous due to the amount of attacks, but it's a place to earn the king's favor. Taishi stated that as an adventurer, he wanted to serve here of his own free will. Money and fame don't appeal to him, but he has no desire to use power for evil. For the sake of the kingdom, he wants to be a hero and is willing to protect the country from attack by dedicating all his power for the good. The emperor understood him and relayed the rest to his aide Zontak. He accepted the order. Taishi thought about the fact that if things got difficult, he would just leave this country. The name of the emperor's aide is Zonter von Meister. He goes to the inner circle and His Majesty and asks to be called by his name. Taishi also introduced himself and said it was nice to meet you. Marl also introduced herself and asked not to worry about her. Zonter offered to speak frankly. He didn't have to worry about his manner of speech, but he was tired of the formal tone of voice. Taishi was surprised at how open-minded he was. Zonter broached the subject first about this incident of the flight of hard-headed nobles close to the army and its leadership. Through the Scout Guild, they learned about the situation of the heroes, but before they could do anything about it, everything changed. What they did was unforgivable to the heroes and Queen Marl. He's eternally grateful to them heroes. If the secret had killed the queen, the most precious thing in their country, it would have been just awful. Zonter thought about the fact that it was quite unexpected that despite his status, he needed him to bow his head before them. He suggested we move on to the conversation. For their country, since the heroes had appeared, it was necessary for their information to be made known to the countries in the League. It had been publicized for a long time, but not all the heroes were comfortable with that. He decided to ask the heroes what they thought about publicizing their exploits. Taishi recognized that as far as Willow was concerned, he wouldn't really want to be talked about. He also asked the girl what she thought. Marl agreed with Taishi. Zonter suggests we go in that direction then. What they don't count on then, what exactly they want. Taishi stated that for starters, he wanted a normal-sized bathtub and a workspace that could be used for forging weapons and alchemy. The girl stated that she wanted a big bed and a comfortable couch. And since, after all her adventures, she would probably have a lot of guests, she would like to have a reliable butler and a maid. Taishi thought of the butler and maid. He had never even thought of such a thing. Zonter understood, and he would try to do his best to accommodate their wishes. But there might be some difficulties with that. They would need to stay in the castle for a while. I wish they had time for shipwrights. While Taishi intentionally glorifies the influence of the hardline nobles and the army. Taishi understands and asked the girl if she agrees. Marl stated that it can't be helped, and since it has to wait, then she will wait. The girl noted that it's scary when you're walking around town and someone from behind yells boo to you. Taishi said that he was not easily frightened. It was decided that the boys would stay in the capital. Some girl said she wanted this hero, Taishi Mitsubu. They've been in the palace for 10 days. Marl noted that they were loitering. He told her that they would stay in the palace for a couple days. If this continued, they would be hostages here for life. Taishi stated that couldn't be. The maid called the two over and stated that the base preparations were complete. They saw their new home. Marl pointed out that the base looked like a mansion, which Soren agreed with. There was access to the main road, a quiet place covered in greenery. The house was bigger than he'd imagined. A house that big would be hard to clean. Marl said it would be fine. Zonter would have the manager or the maids do it. They were met by a man named Jack Mason. He noted that this was their first meeting, whereupon he introduced himself and stated that His Excellency Zonturk was running this house for him. He asked to please just call Jack. Taishi introduced himself and thanked him for his help. Marl also introduced and asked him to take care of her. Jack offered to show you their view. He showed them the hall, the kitchen, the dining room. In the back of the house, she has the living room and also has the forges and alchemy workshop. In addition to the forge, there is a fireplace and a toilet, which are lit by magic. Taishi realized that it all cost a lot of money. Jack asked the gentleman how he liked it. Taishi replied that it was cozy and he was really impressed. Jack noted that saying that to a servant was unnecessary. 100. Whether a suave man of Jack's age should be treated informally or not. He gets his salary from the kingdom and can't be said to have hired him for a job. Taishi asked him to take this money to maintain the estate and use it to buy food and other expenses. The estate has just started to be used and a lot of things need to be bought, and money is needed for daily expenses too. The kingdom also receives money, but he doesn't want to be in debt to them. Jack accepted the amount. Marl asked Mr. Jack where the maid was. Jack stated that his niece works here as a maid and she was out shopping, and he apologized for the inconvenience. Taishi had forgotten the charm of most estates. Mr. Jack's niece, apparently, she is as suave a person as he is, didn't run into the girl and apologize to her uncle for being a little late. Jack turned to his niece named Mabel and noted that she was making so much noise, she needed to greet the gentleman. Mabel apologized for the inconvenience. Her name is Mabel and she is Jack's niece. Taishi was surprised that she was so small. Marl asked her to take care of them. Mabel said she'd be happy to work with them. Suddenly, her bags ripped and everything spilled out. The girl said she was sorry and apologized. She noted that she had some work to do, so she apologized that she had to leave. Jack apologized for his niece, who has a strange personality. Taishi pointed out that it didn't cost anything to apologize. In fact, he was already used to it. Marl noted that she was such a nice, friendly person. If he was going to make the first move, why didn't he consult her? Taishi didn't know what she was talking about. Jack said that his niece had said he preferred heroes. Mabel turned to Taishi and asked him what he wanted for dinner, if he had any requests. He admitted that he would really like something, but he decided to ask the girl. Marl noted that they hadn't eaten so much of the fatty food of the royal palace lately, so she would like a simple fish and rice. Taishi asked her to wait a moment, and he asked if they really had rice. Mabel said that there were plenty of markets in the capital if you looked hard enough. Taishi said he was so hungry and wanted rice. The boy ate a lot and asked for more. He couldn't go into it. He had come to this world about a month ago and had only just learned that there was rice here. Marl was amazed that we had such a love for rice. Taishi stated that if you don't eat it, you won't grow. Mabel shared that she and her girlfriend found it at the Miscolonia market. If it's a traditional product of the kingdom of Miscolonia, he'll have to go to that kingdom. They have rice. It turns out he still knows nothing about this world, and he'd love to know more. We wondered if you could taste his hometown? Marl remarked that it tasted so good. Taishi. I don't need to tell you that their relationship with Marl improved that day. They even had a fancy bathhouse at their house. I can't believe they're gonna bathe in such a spacious tub now. It's like a dream. Marl is like being in heaven. Taishi agreed that I was really good. The girl asked the boy what his hometown was like. He wondered if he could tell her about it. If he told her about the technology and stuff from that world, it could affect this world, his future. Taishi said the place was very peaceful. There were no demons at war. Well, it was a hard place to live and make money. In that place, you could only remove all your needs if you had money. Marl said it sounded like a place to sleep. It's a country where about 30,000 people a year commit suicide because of hardship. There you get tired of living like a cog in the wheel of a society that is far from ideal. Taishi said that no, it wasn't that good. Marl asked him what they would do tomorrow. Taishi said that tomorrow they would have to go to the guild to look for or adventure in the capital. The weapons are still fun to use, but he'd like to buy new armor. The girl told him to talk slower where he was in such a hurry. He suggested she go to the market in the new town and see if they could find some good deals. Marl said that was a good idea. Then she'd like to go to a restaurant that serves rice. Taishi replied that the girl liked to eat that way. Marl was ticked off that apparently he was more interested in sex. Marl declared that she had won. The guy was puzzled where she learned that. The girl replied that she was just asking the maid about it. Taishi was simply shocked at Marl's level of curiosity. They went with the girls to the library. Those are the best places to look for data. There was still a lot he didn't know about Eliard. That's why the library was a great solution. There really are a lot of books there. A whole wealth of books. The guy said it was amazing. All these books were written by hand, and there are probably no typewriters in this world yet. The girl asked the guy if something was wrong. He asked if she could give him a brief tour. The girl agreed. This world is Eliard. It is said that originally there were several civilizations here. But it's December 3rd, 2203. Since the gods created this world, 2203 years have already passed. Religion in this world unites all branches of people and leads them on. Sometimes we're not down to earth and perform miracles thanks to people with magical things. Taishi inquired that the man who lumbered the treasure to her was also a god. Marl noted that if it's on the pearls, she thinks it is. According to the books, the pearl was given by a savior, specifically the goddess who created this world 2203 years ago, and she trusted Marl. Well, what happened to that goddess? They say she fell asleep forever and left her body to the world to give a new heir. He learns more and more. The goddess who talks to him and Marl, one of the oldest. After this, he won't be able to sleep. But why was he summoned to another world and what happened? He needs to think harder. It's not good anyway, and he just wants to live in peace in another world. Marl wondered if he was okay. The boy replied that he just had a lot to learn. The girl then suggested reading Continental Continent. First of all, it's cold in the south and warm in the north. The name of the continent where the kingdom and her hometown are located is Cronia, the continent of peat, or the first continent. She also showed him a political map of peat. Calendil, they are now in this kingdom. It is one of the oldest states on the plains. They develop and produce enough products to conduct trade. The main industry is agriculture. The standard of living is good, but they have to import salt as the sea is far away and there is no rock salt. In addition, due to the large amount of forests around the Mamula control area, the timber industry is poorly developed. And her home kingdom of Miklonia, it stretches on the eastern part of the continent. Because of the large number of lakes, rivers, seas, there are plenty of water resources and seafood. It is called the Land of Travelers because it connects many ports of the world. It is said that all the things of the world are gathered in the crown. Well, there's a lot of water in there too. Don't forget it has its pros and cons. She's already said that Cronia is bringing sea salt to Calendil. Will Miklonia be able to outperform Calendil? Hephaestus to the east of Pita is a mountain kingdom, and near the forests are the villages of the elves. That's roughly how things are on the continent. The girl asked me what he liked most about me. Taishi replied that it was the kingdom of Micronia, and he said it fair and square. The girl clarified he didn't say that because the rice in that kingdom can be eaten endlessly. She hoped they wouldn't take a walk through Micronia someday. The boy asked if she wouldn't have to get married then too, to which the girl replied that she wouldn't. Taishi said that his body was already stiff and suggested a walk through the market. The people in the market beckoned to their stalls. Some had the best pork, some had the best quality flour without impurities, some sold salt that had just come from Macronia. Taishi asked if she wasn't really eating such vegetables, if they were definitely tasty. Marl replied that wasn't the word and to take it. Everyone at the market was offering to taste the food. Taishi remarked that it seems like the new neighborhood has everything you could possibly want. Marl apologized that she seemed to have eaten too much. Didn't notice that there's a market outside the castle. There's more variety here, but it doesn't feel like it's all that rosy. They noticed what the store was, and it turned out to be a brothel. Marl told him not to look there, but the boy was really curious. The girl asked indignantly if he liked tits. Taishi replied that he was just wondering what was being sold there. The prostitution slave trade is naturally a part of the world. This is where they saw the sale of slaves. The men stated that their slaves are healthy and docile, even possessing fighting skills. That man could be bought and sold as a thing. Others imagined slaves who could read and write. These are girls, and they're still very young. When he came to this world, he saw people who looked like slaves, but they never looked up. It's just a fact. Some guy was yelling at them to try and sell him. He'd kill them all and don't let them remember his words. Well, he was shut down immediately. One of the eye powers says he's in trouble. He knows he can't resist the magic of subjugation, and it's time to show this beast his place. They decided they'd do that and lower the price, as long as they can do whatever they want with the goods. He hadn't learned much about this world yet, but he thought he understood the laws here. Slaves are a thing here, and that's the reality of his new world. Marl pointed out that if the boy was unwell, they could leave. No wonder things like this happen in this world, but he would have to accept it if he chose to live here. Even if something like this happens, everyone takes it for granted. Taishi asked the girl if she wasn't surprised. their job. She should only know what his world was like, but she didn't care. They were just slaves. It's an adventurer for the indebted daughters of traders who were sold to disadvantaged children. There are criminals among them. Nothing to do if you have become a slave forever has seen such a thing, and therefore do not want to think about it anymore. The girl suggested the guy to go home. Suddenly, he stopped and noticed the girl. It was the figure of the killer Furamu Forces. She was being sold as a slave. The seller said that the gentleman has excellent taste. She was just delivered. The girl is a mid-level adventurer skilled in martial arts. If he uses subjugation magic, he will achieve unconditional obedience. This allows slaves to bond with their master and obey any order. That's the point of the magic of obedience. Any disobedience is considered a breach of contract. The slave will end up in terrible pain and, in the worst case, may die. He understood because that was when he saw this particular magic. Taishi asked how much it cost. The man said 20 gold coins and no less. Taishi asked him to wait a moment and he would be right there. The man said he could look at the contract. Marl asked him why this particular girl. Even if for that question to himself he still wouldn't find answers. She's thinking bad thoughts. Would he be able to protect it if he bought it? The guy needed a drop of blood on the contract, and now the deal was done. Based on the contract, they read the owner also has a number of responsibilities. They have to provide the robo with food, rooftops, head-to-toe clothing. If he doesn't want him anymore, he will bring him to the market, and the man will buy him back from him. The man called the slave girl. He took off her shackles and said that this man was the new master. The girl recognized him as the hero Taishi. The guy sat down in front of her and offered to go with him. He held out his hand to her, but the girl was afraid. She asked him why her, and it wasn't enough to kill him. Why only her? It was the reverse of the slave attacking the master. She was defeated and came here, and now he's her master. Taishi pulled out his cloak and threw it over the girl. He noted that if she came to her senses, would she go with him? He realized that he did not say she would not listen to him. The man stated that he had forgotten something, the smallest thing. He knows that slaves obey any order, and especially if it is an ex-con. Even if the master asks to be in the neighborhood, the slave must agree. Taishi made sure he did his best. Mabel noted that they had returned and she noticed a girl, then asked who it was. They replied that it was a slave from the market, but she was also a guest. Mabel will get my bedroom ready and go and let the girl take a bath. Mabel said she was doing everything and would be back. Taishi realized that he just couldn't help her and he was worried she'd be alone. How did she still live after that many burns, bruises, and cuts? Furama undressed and sat on her knees in front of Taishi. The guy stated that he told her she was here with her a slave, but a guest. Marl asked her to just relax. She also stated to the guy that she would go with her. He hopes nothing bad will come from the magic of submission. Mabel said the rooms are ready. If there's anything they can't help her with yet, they just need to tell him. Taishi apologized. Marl offered to soap Furama one more time. The girl doesn't know what he's thinking, and Marl said she doesn't either. She still doesn't know much about him. But what is normal for them shocks him. She always thought there was nothing strange about their actions, and no matter what he said, his words always change her point of view and worldview in general. Furama stated that she was a knight, no assassin, but now. Marl noted that she feels that Taishi is as far away from murder and cruelty as his world. Furama said that such a world doesn't exist. She couldn't live in such a world, and it's necessary to do something for the country, even for children who can't fight back. Marl asked her what she would like to do for herself. She noted that the guy was doing his best for her, and Furama was loved by anyone. She was spoiled by that cruel world because of her. If she's worried about something, she can safely tell Marl. Furama is jealous of her. This is her home. Marl confirmed that she loves the girl. Marl turned to the guy and asked why he shouldn't stop worrying about everything to do with the killers. She felt like she was getting over her guilt. Taishi said that he couldn't just do that. He was making the girl crazy and unhappy. Marl said it was stupid, despite the fact that he was human too. You can't make everyone happy. She said she was a bad person and yet he was trying to help her. 3 days have passed since then. Mabel up to the stuff on the closet and was helped by Furama. Mabel was amazed and said that she was their new guest. Furama pointed out that she was a slave and then Mabel that she had to go ran away. It was hard for Furama to be a slave and a guest. She didn't realize if she could stay here and live with them. She had been home for a long time. She was the third child in a family of 7 knights. The little one declared to her father that she wanted to become a cool knight like him. But her father replied that a girl can't become a knight. Was it so hard for her to act like one? Let her see her 3 sisters? Furama always felt deprived and just wanted to find her place and become a knight to make her father proud of her. Furama furthered the task. She sent the battle. With much difficulty, she joined the royal army and fulfilled irregular military calls. But she found comrades and her place there. At least she thought so until that day. All the comrades died except her, and the trial was held in her home country, and her father was banished and dishonored. All her dreams had faded into oblivion. During the tea party, Marl felt something awkward. Taishi apologized. The girl said that she had told him not to get involved with the assassins. Why would he do that? After all, he had suffered because of them. Furama's sorry about the way things turned out back then. Marl stated that that was it. Taishi just wanted to be a hero. Marl noticed that the girl was also a victim. She did it because she was doing her duty and they both ended up hurting each other. Marl decided that they would do it so if no one could forgive each other, she would. Taishi didn't understand what she was doing. Marl declared that she was a princess. Taishi pointed out that you can't talk there. He also asked a princess what she would say about the girl. Furamu wondered what she had done that couldn't be forgiven. Furamu noted that you want her words every nonsensical, but it's actually a very sensible approach. When she joined the unit, she was prepared for anything. They were trained to fight, and in the end, she lost and passed on all the knowledge she had. If he can ask for those fears, then she was badly wounded on a mission. He helped her in her time of need when she was sold into slavery. Will he forgive her sins even though she doesn't like being a human slave? Furama claimed that's the reason why her life is vicious. What would her fellows think if they saw her like that? Oh yes, she can't be forgiven for the death of a comrade. Even though they killed others, they were friends. In fact, she can't ask you herself, so she's deep into the problem. Furama asked the princess if she could stop being a slave. Marl said no, it's a punishment for criminals. Taishi notes that it's terrible. This guy is really weird helping a slave, or rather a former enemy. Well, why can it be an isomer in which killing is a strange thing? Taishi wondered if they had done something wrong. He asked the girl what they could do to help her. He also apologized to Furama for ruining her life. This is her future, and he atoned for his sin. Marl asked the girl if she wanted to live with them. The next day came. Taishi was cursing that he was late thinking about it for so long that he ended up not getting any sleep. Marl and Mabel were dressing Furama beautifully. They remarked that it was fine as it was. Taishi asked what they had done to her. Furama said she was a slave and didn't want to be a guest. So they decided that from this day forward, she will be a maid. Jack's niece isn't quite up to it, so he thought it was a good idea. Furama thanked them for having her and asked if there was anything she could do to help. She wants to be loved too. Furama abruptly walked over to the guy and said she was joking. That's how she joined the company. All was lost, he thought. On the street, he was suddenly called out of the blue and asked if he was a hero. The guy claimed he was from the kingdom's castle and had an errand for him. Suddenly, he was bound and carried away. The maid informed the mistress that everything was ready. Some girl told Taishi to be her bravest. The boy didn't understand what was going on. How come? Another one of Kalunella's jokes. The girl clarified if he was comfortable speaking now. Before him stood Kalunella, princess of the kingdom of Carindil. He stated that it was not good if she had no business with him, then he would leave. A man should not be in the room of an unmarried girl. She offered to make him at least a cup of tea. They'd have a chat. She said it would be a friendly get-together, but it doesn't look like it. He wondered what she was going to do, this princess. He didn't understand why it had to be hers. Kalunella replied that she is a princess, and he is the bravest man in the last 50 years. The two of them could make the kingdom the most. They always had. He asked her to be more specific, if she really wanted them to become so close right after they met. Before their acquaintance had not happened under the best of circumstances. The girl started that she knew a lot about him. She had seen him when her father talked to him, and he had lived in the castle for 10 days. He realized he could have seen her then. Strangely enough, he's not interested. He helped him for money and honor, but he's interested in power today, and he already has a girlfriend. The maid apologized for the intrusion. He was offered tea. Only certain aristocrats and royalty can afford this tea. The flavor is unique. Taishi took a drink and wondered what the kingdom's interest was from. A top-of-the-line royal sleeping pill. He just poured out the contents of the cup and asked her what it was. Had she decided to use it only she didn't know anything about it? Bravery interested her. The maid jumped on him and told him to forgive her. It's not her fault just because there aren't very many herbs, she mixed them up. The princess acts with her own laws and no surprise, she sends people to their deaths. Taishi pushed the maid away, stating that he was offended. She declared that it was funny, and after that, she wanted him to have her even more. The princess turned to her maid and she understood her. Then he noticed the pendant around her neck. It was a magical instrument. Kalunella praised her maid. The princess asked the boy what it was like to wear the magic of the ancients. That hypnotic pendant and his body doesn't move. If only he had agreed with the princess right away, but it couldn't be helped. She undressed and offered him friendship. She would do anything to get what she wanted. She took something in his mouth and he asked what she drank. The princess asked him not to worry. It's not poison, it's just an aphrodisiac. With this potion, even a virgin won't feel any pain, so stammered her maid. The princess didn't know what she was talking about, even though it's not even his poison resistance skill is powerless here. The girls noted that it seems to have taken effect, and the hero seems to be suffering because of it. Taishi. Why is the princess of this world so persistent in terms of sex? She stated that her body is already burning, but he is so hard inside. The princess was worried and asked the maid if she could do it. So supported her mistress and told her not to show weakness. The princess stated that the maid would be the first to let him try to enter. Stella agreed if that is what the princess wants. He can't move. But if he does nothing, not only the princesses but the maids will molest her. Taishi still managed to escape. The princess shouted to him, "Trail how he can run away halfway since as a man he won't regret it later." Taishi stated that the only person he wants to give his virginity to is Marl. Also called her stupid, and the princess ordered him to take those glories back. He also urged the princess to give up, he only wanted his girl. Someone outside the door complimented him that he was the one who said it well. The doors opened, and there stood Marl, who asked him if he was okay. When she found out about the messenger, she realized it was all the princess. Karunella was outraged that Marl get always the best of everything, and she would not let her get anywhere near a hero. Marl replied that she only ever wants people. It does whatever it wants, and that's why the people call her selfish. Karunella said to stop blaming her because she refused the alliance with King Keppel. Ever since she got the letter from her sister, she's resented her. Marl stated that she had heard nothing and knew nothing about Tanawa's sister. Taishi noted that he was about to be deflowered, so he listened to their conversations and wondered if they knew each other so well. The boy asked if they were childhood friends. The girls didn't understand why he thought they were childhood friends. Taishi noted that they were clearly getting along well. Umbrella and the Emperor burst into the room and asked what was going on. The Emperor apologized to the hero, and it was all because he hadn't finished watching. Taishi pointed out that he shouldn't be so afraid, and yet he has had so many attempts on his life in everything, not even from this country. The Emperor stated that it wasn't just that he just wanted to apologize for what happened. However, he probably has no desire to help their kingdom anymore. Taishi noted that so many times had eaten into his life with this convenient excuse of saving the kingdom. Marl stated that there is talk. Princess Carnelia is imprisoned undercut for 2 months, as well as the girl who accompanied her because she poisoned a guest of their kingdom. She awaits the death penalty. Taishi had asked to wait, so it was Princess Carnelia's fault, and the death penalty would betray the maid. She had no choice but to carry out the order. Marl told him to calm down because the royal family doesn't make mistakes. And if they do, it's the maid who couldn't protect her from it, because it's her duty. The execution maid had the princess in custody, and they took care of everything so they wouldn't make a fuss. Marl said the guys shouldn't worry. Taishi asked the girl if she thought it was normal, but she reiterated that he didn't need to worry, because he's worried they won't abolish the death penalty or hide the evidence. But if he wants, they can give it to you after they make you a slave. And that's why they've already taken care of it. Marl checked with Zontak to see if everything was correct. Zontak thanked the hero princess for being so generous. Taishi wondered if the princess and the maid had agreed to such terms. Cornelia stated that putting her under arrest was too much. The heroes were just lucky, and if he had just been hers, none of this would have happened. He said that she was the reason they were going to execute the maid and that the princess had no upbringing. Zontak said he would take the princess to a nunnery. Cornelia told Princess Marielle that she would not give up until she had taken everything from her. Marl and asked him to go home. But they were done with the king for the day. Taishi didn't understand what the hell had happened today. Marl stated that she was always having problems with this girl. And like he said, he only had hers. The boys returned home where they were greeted by Mabel and Furama. Furama worriedly asked if they were hurt. Taishi replied that she was fine. When she heard the news, her heart nearly stopped, but she was worried. No matter how strong a guy was, if something happened, everyone in the mansion would be worried. The girls asked him to please not act recklessly. Since he had the skill of detecting danger, he noticed the poisoned tea. But if it was prepared for Marl or Furama, he wouldn't be able to stay calm either. To him, they are all elephant family. He apologized to them for making them worry, but he's home now. Mabe and Furama had already prepared dinner. The boys would love to eat. When they got back to the mansion, they immediately felt better, even the fatigue had lifted. Marl stated that she was afraid they would not be able to sleep tonight. Her body was ready to explode from the inside out. Mabel woke up and stated that they would try their best tonight. It had been a few days since she had started working at the mansion. Mabel stated that she would make breakfast and her uncle would set up the chair. Fram she asked to please change, just not in the bedroom. The girl had a lot of work to do and it was a little hard, but having the master at home made her happy. Fram went to the boys' room and apologized to them, but the guys were busy and so the girl closed the door. Suddenly, Mabel appeared and asked the girl if she had changed the sheets. Fram informed the girl that the master would spend some time in the bedroom, so she would change it, just not later. And she's too young to know that. Mabel said she was the head maid, by the way. Fram replied that she knew she would take another job. Mabel, Mister, isn't he feeling well? Maybe you could make him something light. Taishi said he was fine. So much had happened in the last few days. He was physically exhausted and just wanted to live quietly. Mabel noted that he seemed tired because of Princess Cornelia, so there must have been a lot going on. Is there anything they can do to help? Frum thinks it's best to just leave him alone. Jack informed his niece that she had left the cauldron on the fire. The girl apologized even though she had made mistakes before. She is not yet an experienced maid and can't do much work like her uncle. She would like to have a special skill too. Marie's joyful smile is soothing, and Fram's breasts are huge and healing, worth looking at. If there was one thing that Mabel could do too. The girl offered the gentleman a massage. She wanted to help him get rid of his fatigue. After a while, he asked the girl if she could put more effort into it. Mabel shared that it was all she could do. Taishi pointed out that she was a girl and a child, but he saw her snack and offered to give her a foot massage to walk on his back. Mabel was horrified at what she heard. Taishi shared that on his lesson is not quite popular massage, but it is nothing strange, let her not worry. Mabel did indeed stomp on the master's back. She noted that she was doing well and asked if he liked it. Taishi liked if he was guiding her. Mabel could feel his body temperature with her feet. She worriedly asked him if everything was okay, which here she replied that it was fine. Mister is the hero of this country, but asks to stomp on his back. The guy asked the girl to stomp harder immediately. It really feels great. Marie said good morning. I was horrified when I saw Mabel stomping on Mister. Marie realized it was a massage, but he didn't need to tell the girl everything he could think of. If she could use recovery magic, she could heal him. Taishi said that recovery magic was fine without it. Marie could believe he likes it so much when a girl steps on him. What a pervert. Taishi thanked Mabel. She was able to help the master today. The guy noticed that she was blushing and asked the girl if she was okay, if she was overworked. Mabel replied that no, it's okay, and she added that if he still needed a massage, she would give it to him. Taishi stated that she would definitely ask her. Marie stated that Mabel is so sneaky. Suddenly, Marie fell on the guy and stated that she wanted to step on him too. Taishi noted that it was just a massage. and he didn't have a fetish for it, and it was heavy. Mari asked the guy how he felt, to which he replied that it was definitely different from Mabel. The gentleman then said quietly that the fatigue had lifted like a hand. He had never felt so comfortable being stepped on before. Jack remarked that it was pretty good when they were together. Fram replied that it was nothing of the sort. She had committed the crime of infringing on her master's life. Jack replied that he didn't think it was in her nature to worry about something like that. Fram replied that it was all right. Of course, it's fun to watch them, but Jack hopes that his niece doesn't suddenly wake up in his mind. Next, we see the hero slaying monsters. He used a barrage of energy to slay and destroy. You wouldn't expect anything else from him. With that kind of power, they destroy the nest of the eye of the moment. Next time, they'll kill them all. Unexpectedly, Mari and Taishi decided to make some money for the guild. They headed to Vieto's village. Why they needed the money, they offered to go back a bit. Taishi replied that it was morning, but he didn't want to get up too early. Suddenly, he heard the voice of a god who wished him good morning and said he needed to talk. Taishi thought he was hallucinating. The voice said that he had stopped ignoring him and listened to him. It wanted to tell him something important because in 2 months there would be a great flood. He asked him to just leave it for later, and he needs to tell the rest of the people. Taishi is shocked to hear about the great flood, what it is. Mari clarified what a great flood meant, but there was nothing strange about the fact that it could happen. Taishi asked her to stop beating around the bush and just tell him everything. The Great Flood is a phenomenon when monsters overwhelm all areas. Usually occurring every 2 decades, the extent of the damage caused depends on the place and time. During the last flood, a huge number of monsters moved into the capital and caused massive damage. 20 years ago, she was just a child and the maid burst into tears. And the number of guards guarding the palace had dwindled, and she thought many of them had failed to return home. But she didn't realize it until much later. She didn't understand why she was talking about it all of a sudden. Taishi had been told about it by a mysterious divine voice. Marie was terrified that the guy was an oracle. No matter how you are, it will be better to know about the whole kingdom of problems does not take, but will tell. Taishi asked everyone to listen to him. The great flood will happen in 2 months. Everyone wondered how he knew, to which he replied that God had told him so. He knew that's how he would react. There must be someone in this world who's heard of it, and if they confirm it. Still, it's a hard goal to accomplish. Jack agreed that something like this is hard to prove. If word gets out, he could be blamed for the whole mess. That's the unpleasant part. It would be hard to prove. He heard the eye of God, and in 2 months there will be a great flood, in which case I'll take him for a lunatic. Taishi asked the manager if he could make an appointment with Zontark. Jack said that if they could get the Marquis's support, they could go to the temple for help. There are enough priests in the temple of the capital who can hear the eye of God, and if Taishi is not indifferent to them, the Marquis will not be indifferent. Jack is a vassal of Zontrak. He's sure he can guide them. He will inform the Marquis there. We must rely on the steward. Zontrak trusts Jack more than the hero. Before the Great Flood is 2 months away and now they start to hunt monsters and earn money, they need good equipment to become stronger. By the time the Great Flood comes, he should be stronger, and now they are back in the present. Marie let the guy know he's there. Taishi used the beam and destroyed. Mari had already lost count of too many of them, so no wonder the guy was tired too. Taishi wanted to put the whole nest into storage, and here's a bunch of materials he has. High-quality ingredients, and the honey is sweet tasty shared with him by the girl. By high-quality ingredients, they mean the pupae, larvae, and eggs of the big hornet can be quite expensive to sell. It would be great if they could sell anything at all. The kids shared that they destroyed a big hornet's nest. The children were shocked, and the older people in the village thanked the adventurers. Now you will be safe in the village, and it is such a blessing. And they managed so quickly, and should have made a request to the guild sooner. Taishi noted that they were embarrassing him. Mari stated that she originally thought of this request as a request to make money, so she didn't think so many people would be happy. It's great to be adventurous after all. Meanwhile, in the Adventurers Guild, the girl was shocked that they defeated a nest of 341 large hornets. Taishi stated that they didn't bring them materials. The girl stated that the reward for asking her is a silver coin. The rewards from one large hornet are 2 copper coins. And it just so happened that they collected 95 gold coins, 9 silver coins, and 2 copper coins. They made that much money in one request. They did. Being an adventurer is a lucrative business after all. They also got honey and expensive ingredients from the chrysalis larvae. Marie offered him something to eat when they got back because they looked. With this task, the hero's level rose to 20 and the girl's level to 11. She had now reached the level of an average adventurer, but they don't know how many monsters there will be and need to get even stronger. But the girl did a good job for today. At home, the boys were welcomed home. They informed Mabel that they had brought quality ingredients. Afterwards, they handed everything over to her, but I was too shocked to be scared. Taishi apologized for scaring her. Mabel said it was unexpected. She was scared at how abruptly she was handed to her. Taishi asked Fram how she was doing. The girl replied that sometimes she had to eat monster meat. She noted that she and Mine was to cook together if they got hungry. Mabel stated that she would definitely not eat. And when they finished eating, they would go to bed. They had saved up money by fulfilling requests in the guild, and now they needed good weapons. Jack, meanwhile, relayed the hero's words to the Marquis. He noted that, at least when the hero spoke, he did so with a serious look. Marquis said they would see what they could do. Marie asked the heroes to do a quest for them today too. Well, the guy said that would be good. There is a workshop in the mansion he wants to try to make his own weapons. She noted that it is a good idea before the flood, but does he know blacksmithing and alchemy? The guy thinks it's time to learn, so he thanked the girls for the food and went to the forge. Marie is curious to see very much the chemistry table next to the forge. He suggested that she apologize with alchemy. The girl agreed. While he works in the forge, she will do alchemy. Then they will see what they have accomplished. If she decides to do it, it's worth keeping an eye on her. She'll be a great help to him if he's mastered alchemy. Now he decided to do a skill boost. After completing the quests, he increased his rank and received 19 skill points. For 15 points, he will raise the skill to level 5, and this time he will learn blacksmithing. He would need powerful weapons, and if he could put them on the market, he could raise the power of them all. He thought of acquiring the skill of alchemy, but creating weapons is a dream for men. He decided to see what he could do at the first level of the skill or the beginning of the design. He thought about the dagger. He wondered what the first level would get. He has made fire and knows how to pierce metal and work with tools because of his skills. It seems to be filled with magical power because the fire flared up as soon as he used magic. The magicians were pretty betting. Taishi stated looking pretty good and now they'll forge on. That's because he's increased in rank and with it, strength dexterity. The more red-hot the metal, the easier it is to work with. Now it's going to let that water run through and continue with the work mode. In no less than 30 minutes, the blade was ready. He sharpened it on a sharpening machine and made a hand out of wood skin. He did it so quickly, and no, he could do it seriously. It only took him an hour, and even when he looks at it, he thinks it's perfect. From then on, he will increase the skill level and make a dagger. It takes a lot of time to make a weapon at the second level, but the quality became excellent. By raising it to the third level, he discovered the possibility of magic. And by raising it to the fourth level, he learned how to increase the magic power and tried to create an item with magic power. Each time, he level up the time needed to craft decreases. Fast glowing fast. Forging fast, sharpening, and knowledge becomes more and more. His head is told too much information at a time. However, he continued forging like a man possessed and realized that he had made dozens of weapons. Marie doesn't even complain about the noise, and she's in the workshop next door. There must be some kind of soundproofing magic and it's perfect here. So how much is this mansion worth? The girls informed the guy that they had finally gotten the magic cure. When they entered the forge, they didn't understand why there was a mountain of weapons. Taishi stated that he didn't even notice how he did it. The girls looked at his dagger and asked him if he had done it himself. What these two are looking at is perfect quality. But this level of blacksmithing, he learned how to forge sacred magic balls. The method of crafting from demonic materials has also changed. Now that he is able to defeat monsters, he can gather the necessary materials. Marie stated that he was really good at it. Taishi noted that she could take him if she wanted. He stated that it was the best thing he did today. He also asked Fram if she also wanted something for self-defense when going out on the town or something. There are not only daggers but others. Fram replied that slaves are not allowed to carry weapons. Not to mention the Arabs are criminals, so they don't turn blade against master. Well, we can handle everyone with our bare hands. Marie's dagger, even a jewel made by the greatest master craftsman, looks convincing and pleasing to the eye. He realized she didn't give Marie the gift, or she's just trying to refrain. He thinks he shouldn't have given Fram the weapon. The girl asked the guy to take it as a thank you for the dagger. She made a restorative potion. The guy didn't understand why it was glowing. Well, noting that it was wonderful, I thanked the girl. Marie said it was quite fun, and being an adventurer became interesting, but alchemy was also interesting. Now she follows the effect of the recovery potion, and someone has to drink it. The girl has only increased her skill to level 1 today. He's sure it's all due to his hard work. But maybe it's true that today he increased the skill to level 5. That's because he's been making weapons all day. An ordinary hammer became a blacksmith's hammer. He would try to create powerful weapons, and he needed to prepare for the flood. A few days passed. Taishi arrived at Zontak's mansion. Of their mansion doesn't even compare to the size of this one. Jack apologized for disturbing the marquee he brought to the heroes. Nargis asked him to wait until he was finished. They came for one reason only. Marquis knows why they came, and as it turns out, it was only a small part. The oracle in all the temples confirmed his words, and now the country is sharing the available information. It will happen after all. He was not wrong. The Great Flood is coming. The magnitude of the flood varies according to place and time. It seems last time it did a lot of damage to the capital city of Alphen. Are there enough troops in Calendil? Am I the only hero in the country? Taishi stated that in that case, he had something. He gave the Marquis the saber he made. Surprisingly, they're all beautifully made. Taishi made a huge batch of weapons to boost their strength. There are about 30 of them here, and let the troops take advantage of it before it's too late. The sabers will be very useful for the cavalry. The Marquis is alive that they will hand them over. But is it possible the manufacturer for the whole country, not just for the troops to Valeria and the adventurer? Taishi confirmed this. He only did the woods, so it is better to call for another master for the hilt. It's not that hard to make blades, but I'm a friend and I care. He wants to mass-produce magical weapons, so he'll need magical tools. The guy handed the Marquis samples of food also made perfectly. It will be great if he continues to cooperate with this wall, and he feels that they will not be able to survive the flood. Taishi pointed out about working with this country. He would hate to give it all away for free. For weapons, he used mithril iron, orichalc crystals, and black steel. He's pretty oblivious, but because of the production of this weapon, a reward is required. He's hoping they've made a deal with him. He will produce the blade quickly, so they need to deliver the materials as screeny as possible. The army and the adventurer together will go out to the flood. The Marquis and the heroes shake hands. The negotiations with Zontak were successful. That evening, the hero Mari asked him to teach her magic. The girl also began to prepare for the Great Flood. Mabel asked her what she was reading. It turned out to be a click of spells. Her quickly she learns if she has a partner. The book is quite ancient. They were surprised that such magic really existed. Marie claimed she hadn't told them anything. Mabel called her sly and told her to show her. Marie asked the hero to help her with magic. He asked if she wanted to learn magic. The girl noted that the credit of the Great Flood, and she should be ready for that too. Wouldn't it be great if she could use magic? The hero agreed. The girl bought a spellbook of primitive magic. She looked suspicious. If it's so easy to learn, the bigger paper is not happy with the price. Marie said he was the only one who could help. Studying magic and alchemy, she is quite ambitious, and he felt much better helping her to him instead of fighting. The hero said he would help, and the girl thanked him. He asked her to take her hand. They need to intertwine their fingers and channel the magic power. First into one hand, then into the other to spread it. Marie noted that her hands were so big and hers were small and cute. Then with his left hand, his right hand, he tried to have her channel the power into it. She concentrated the magic power in her left hand. Taishi wondered if something was wrong. If she was in pain, let her tell him. Asking him not to stop, she urged him to keep going. The guy was calm whether it was possible to transfer so much power to a girl who had never used magic before. Once she knew she had the ability to use magic too, so she realized a little more. Now she must choose the magical power she has received. Concentrating the power in her left hand and he will take the power from her right hand. The more magic he gives away, the more he takes away, it gets hard. The magic passed through them and combined. Her magic is slowly adapting to his body, and it's as if he's moved into her thoughts. But it's her soul. Primitive magic is something like magic binding the hearts of two people. Marie declared to the guy that she couldn't take it anymore. He rushed over and increased the amount of magic power. He used recovery magic and noted that everything was due to his stupidity. After circulating the magic, one could feel a rise in strength as if their mixed magical power was already familiar to his body. Besides, this feeling along with the magic power felt her soul, and when she applied magic for the first time, the girl must have also felt it. The guy thanked her, and the girl called him a fool. He noted that it was not worth saying the last one and asked the girl how she felt. Marie answered that it was a little strange, but she realized something this time. She offered to change places, and they started. It weirdly feels like a tickle and is clearly different from before. Now he is taking her magical power. The girl asked him to sit still. The guy thought that she wanted to kill him because he had more magic power. Primitive magic to exchange magical power. Circulating powers between people is quite dangerous, but the girl feels the powers overwhelming her. He checks the status, and the girl has grown about 100 of magical power, and that, by the way, is substantial damage. But she must be feeling better, and their primitive magic skills were at level 1. If we raise the level in this state, we instantly become a force to be stroked. But it's primitive magic that if used for insidious purposes, and he doesn't even want to think about it, Taishi is glad they were able to use magic. Mari read that there's a sequel, so they have a whole night ahead of them. Primitive Maki is not bad for a night at those, but Mari's insatiable appetite makes him go about it. Fram said good morning. She hopes the night went well. It's kind of embarrassing after the dagger incident. Fram refrained from the gift of calling himself a slave. He thinks it can't go on like this. Taishi decided to ask her directly what she thought of him. The girl replied that he was a hero of the country and she was his slave. He knew she would say something like that. He said that he would say it differently then. He does not consider her a slave. Maybe it is her status, but she is important to him as a person living in this mansion. They're like family, and he comes from a place much farther away than she can imagine. By getting you a mansion, he's found a place to relax, so he wants it to be the same place for her. Farm was specific about places where she can relax. She gets up early to take care of him, Marie. And Mabel's been chatting up the check. It's quiet money now, and at least it's not like the days when she was a child. He's the one who gave her this opportunity. But she's a former murderer. Doesn't he despise her? Taishi said he wouldn't hate her for something like that. She'd rather be hated than hated by her partner. And sure, there were bad moments, but she can't hate him either. He's the one to save those bloody days when she was a murderer. Now she realizes, and if everyone had stayed the same, she'd have been just a spirit slowly going mad. She wouldn't have any future. Of course, at first she was resentful, but now, Farm greeted Marley and stated that she would make breakfast. Farm clarified to the gentleman if she could start providing him some services too. Marley asked what the girl had said to him, which she replied that it was nothing. He headed for the workshop. His heart didn't jump out. He doesn't realize what the joke was. Marie comes first in his mind. Meanwhile, at the Marquis mansion, he said that announce him at the beginning of the flood, he wants to ask his hero of the country to raise morale. So the Marquis wants him to speak, and he had asked him to refrain from such a thing. Taishi noted that there was something to eat. His reaction surprised Zontak. Taishi noted that he didn't refuse. It can't be helped now. The Marquis apologized. He understands that their country is not in a position to ask him, but he knows. If something happens to Marie and his friends, the whole kingdom becomes an enemy. It's not so bad. He can reduce the kingdom's favor. What if after the bounty and the flood, the mansion is much bigger than the current one, though? No, maybe he will get the whole territory, and let him try to ignore his success. Marquis handed him his performance schedule. Taishi noted that the girl was the problem. Marquis noted that they had suggestions. The girl noted that she must be present. She wondered if everything was going to be all right. Marie had fled from the kingdom of Miscronia because she was not going to enter into a political marriage, and now she would see them again. They decided to heed the Marquis's suggestion. Marie, the first princess of the kingdom of Miscrony. Deep still heroes received a divine revelation, left his country, met a great hero, supported him on his journey. The love between Kira and Princess is classic, but sounds pretty beautiful. In the eyes of the people of both countries, they'll be like a fairy tale. Since he ran away without permission, there may be difficulties, but her family will have a harder time making a fuss about her running away if she says she did the right thing. However, does not walk on very thin ice. There is likely that the flood will highlight out of order. In addition, if she chooses the hero's spouse, her engagement to the neighboring party will be broken off. They can use the introduction to announce the engagement. Marie confessed how much the wife loves the guy, so maybe she ran away from home when he helped her. Marie pointed out that he takes everyone as a concubine, to which the guy said he had the only one. Besides, lately he's been doing nothing but thinking. And the Flood Hero's performance has already increased the production of weapons. There are still a few things left to do, and features to make the residents of the mansion stronger. Farm to welcome the guys home. Taishi called the girl into the living room and needed to talk. He noted that everyone is in an argument, then got angry that he wants to talk about the Great Flood. Thinks that the mansion will hold out, but never knows what awaits him, through which a thief will get in. So he gives Fram a gun. She didn't take it last time because she thought she was a slave. He ordered her to protect everyone while he was away from the mansion. The girl stated that she had already told him she was a former assassin, now a slave, and could not carry a weapon. Taishi stated that it was not a request, it was an order. The girl stated that she would protect the mansion at the cost of her life. Taishi asked not to be misunderstood, but he wants her to protect herself as well. She may be a slave. He, Knight of the Kingdom, gives her orders to protect everyone in this mansion. The girl takes his orders. Is Mabel okay? Because Fram has become a concubine. The girl said it's okay. Once she gets pregnant, she doesn't want to make the guy endure. She would also ask Mabel if she wanted to become one too. The girl replied that she would think about it. Fram stated that she would try and do her best. Taishi was pleased, but the girl's phrasing made him uncomfortable. She asked if he didn't like hugging someone other than Mari, but the man is so not to worry. Taishi is afraid that he won't be able to hold back if it happens. Fram appeared that he should pay more attention to himself. She was like a subject whispering sweet nothings, and there was no turning back. And so they spent the night with her. The closer they got, the closer their hearts got. But an uneasy feeling crept into his chest. In the morning, Marie asked you to stop having fun. Fram pointed out that the girl was breaking a promise, to which you replied that she wasn't breaking anything. She's joining. It's every man's dream, but for some reason he feels guilty. Although they don't agree, so there's nothing to worry about. About 20 days after they found out about the Great Flood, Marie was telling the guy to get up, and here's the fatigue medicine. Taishi asked her to stop, not to make him drink it again. She told me to be shy. Lately, Marie's been using him as a guinea pig for her potions. And it doesn't affect him, but there are side effects. She asked how he was feeling. Taishi replied that he wasn't naturally tired, for he wondered what the side effects were. Marie said it was just an addiction. Could it be some kind of drug? He also replied that he had done a good job himself. Finally finished making blades for Zordak's soldiers. I don't want to do anything else, hoping there will be no more work. Mari asked him if he had made many weapons for himself. He made himself a sword by trial and error. It is a sword made of 2 alloys of divine silver and crystals. Marie remarked that it was very beautiful. What a divine silver. Often referred to as orichalcum, it is an alloy obtained by refining mithril, also known as true silver. This sword has the strength of orichalcum while retaining the lightness of mithril, and the livia core made of crystal increases the fictitiousness of magic. To put it simply, magical attacks are more powerful. Marie inquired about her ball. His goal now was to strengthen their weapons. He would probably want to use the dagger of mithril he gave her that time. Paravel measured the dagger and tried to make a new saber for her. He made it so it matched the dagger. Marie thanked him. Taishi remarked that she was cute, but quite ugly for the price. He thought it would look good using the dagger with the soul at the same time, but she'd probably cut herself if she thought Fram knew how to sword them. He offered to learn from her. Then she decided that she would go get her to practice with her in the backyard. Taishi wants to test how his sword fits in his hand, and, well, I'm a girl full of enthusiasm. Since he started preparing for the Great Flood, he felt weapons and made money. There became more requests from the guild and like destroying monsters, and during this preparation, he was able to raise his magic level to 5th with the help of skill points, and also powerful magic raising lady enhancement magical physical power. His status became amazingly good. His and Mari's levels had gotten higher now he had 31st. Taishi asked her to show her what she has learned. The girl has really gotten stronger. Mari is growing and now she is level 20 and has reached level 3 of swordsmanship of scholar of paired weapons. He noted that she looks like a princess. With the girl replied that she does look like a princess and he looks like a hero because he is a hero. They put on the Mifrilove Dopus become aware. Marquis calls out that it looks like it's ready. Taishi didn't realize it was to sing such, he wasn't sure what kind of about a girl. It's not just a cloth. It's 109 measure mesh. It'll protect far better than sheet metal armor. Plus, the enchantments increase physical protection. He thinks it's even better than his armor. Marquis announced that the ceremony was about to begin, and he hoped they had the text with them. They decided to repeat it. For the first time in 50 years, there is a hero in the kingdom, and in honor of this, he organized a ceremony to celebrate the marriage of heroes. But there is something important. Credit the Great Flood. Taishi felt strange. But with the princess, it's not the first time and she understands how he feels. People noted that the hero Sumhi is ordinary, and next to the girl so nice, she was much better to meet someone in the crowd. A lot of people in the crowd were discussing that you didn't crush the trolls. He kind of nailed a troll with his bare hands, but the guys didn't believe it. That's the problem on its head. Marie that everyone will know his nickname and the news that he is a hero will spread further and further. He feels like everything's going wrong. Well, at least he kept his dignity. After completing the 6 from the castle to the city, they finally announce America's flood from the castle walls. The emperor urged the people of the capital that today, she has an important announcement, and he ordered to listen carefully. To the oracle below the words of faith, and in 2 months the great flood will come. He asked not to worry. It seems this time he has someone who will protect their forces. And this is the first found and a longtime hero of their kingdom, Taishi Mitsuba. Despite becoming a lawyer not so long ago, the hero managed to single-handedly defeat 3 trolls and earned the title of Troll Scourge. The emperor called to greet the hero the inhabitants of the kingdom, and they also began to develop and produce new weapons. Their army will become stronger. With them also who led and helped the heroes of his wanderings, the first princess of the neighboring country, Marielle Blanc Mislonia. The princess joined the oracle and left her homeland. Now she supports the hero in all his endeavors. She is truly a saint of the oracle, and with the appearance of the hero and the saint, their kingdom will definitely survive the floods. But he also wanted to remind everyone of the wealth and immense power of their kingdom, her people. He urged people to fight for the sake of family and loved ones. They would all stand in defense of the state. Zondak said that the emperor would pass his speech perfectly. Mari asked Taishi not to laugh, but she's a holy oracle. It's too weird calling a saint something that nagged at him the first day they met. Maybe he should change the meaning a bit. They also called him a hero. Now to put so much weight for the flood. Mari asked the guy what they were fighting for. He's not even a citizen of this country or even a citizen of this world. He may not fight on the front lines, but they can't do it without him again. Taishi said he could do that, but he had his own reasons. It doesn't matter if he wants to test his strength or get the king's reward. One thing he can say for sure is that if he escapes, he will regret it for the rest of his life. The guilt of the villagers' deaths will haunt him constantly. Marie pointed out that he could die himself. Anything's possible, but it's just as likely that the flood won't be a monster stronger than him. Still, by fighting he could protect her and all the mansions. The guys shouted heroes from the holy that they were so wonderful. Marie thanked them. Looks like they're popular now. Not that he doesn't have that desire to become a hero to them. He wished he could always see her smile. He offered to get her through this great flood. He would protect her. The great flood has come. A few days ago in the fourth wall, strategic winds knights the capital, the army of the kingdom. They discussed that in addition to the capital and the state, there are fortress cities and their fate according to past floods. These cities will last at least a week, up to and maybe up to a month. The only problem is the distribution of forces. Glottis and Berlion must be thought of first. If they go, then the trade from the highlands will be invaded by demons. It will take time to move the troops. If the troubles are long, the armies will be exhausted, and if the numbers are wrong, they will lose. So they need to think how many and where to distribute their forces. The Marquis says he wants to give the heroes temporary control of the capital. When the flooding starts, he can use the mages to drive the monster hordes away from the fourth wall and not be held back. Taishi stated that it sounds tempting, and why doesn't he try it? Mari asked the guy if he was sure. Taishi replied that he was getting his weapons ready by this very moment and went rank. He was ready. The magic he pumped to level 5 while preparing. He created a huge explosion. Mari was god by that explosion. Huge explosion is pure magic firing long-range projectiles. The power of such a spell is enough to form a funnel with a radius of about 100 meters in its place. The girl noted that with it at the bottom of the instant, the eye would end. Monsters climbing already today impossible and the main force of the enemy. Dagoth's monsters are sophisticated, using the gap between explosions. He decided it needed to be reduced, because this is just the beginning of the Great Flood, that you started climbing out of that hole. They didn't understand and asked the hero if he could defeat it. Taishi said he wouldn't let the edge get out and also set off a big explosion. Taishi seemed to kill it, but everyone wondered what kind of hand it was. He destroyed the monster with the palm of his hand. Well, whatever they were doing showed up here his whole body. For the hand, he was 3 whole levels through a little bit more. He chased the thoughts away, apparently needing to defeat the rest. The hero stated that the Great Flood had just begun. Mabel asked her uncle what the black orb was, to which he replied that he had never seen anything like it. With its disappearance, there were fewer motors. The monsters have become much more active, and they only have to defend themselves and wait. They trust their master. After killing your Graham and the monsters stopped advancing, and by noon the entire force. Most likely it was that monster that introduced the others to attack the capital. At the age of 29, he wanted to live in another world, in a free world. They traveled to the royal capital to save another city, and a few days later they arrived in the city of the Fortress of Berlioz, which is west of the royal capital. The hero is able to go anywhere. There was a dragon. The dragon is able to spew fire, and if the princess is afraid, he can handle it. He asked her to wait here. She worriedly asked her if he would go. Well, that guy lives that he could handle it. Taishi remarked that it would be a fun victory. She reminded him that they wanted to get there first. Taishi made glass out of the wind. Before removing the dragons, it was worth getting rid of those things first. He used a line of light. Taishi noted that this is how it turned. Now he was starting to like it. Taishi went after him and made a fool of him. He defeated him and he's done with it. Mari clarified that he said he was just worried that. Taishi that honestly, even though there was a dragon, he could make something useful out of it. Who would want to be left with a wet spot? He just wanted to take care of the girl and keep her out of danger. You alone were quicker to alienate him. She told him not to do it again. Taisha that he would lay out and accept her care. She asked if he could try and not die. She had a green punishment in her hands, and he didn't realize what the hell it was. Besides, let it straight in the city just so log cabin he did not get anything. And the girl's right. There's a reason for that. Can human life be considered to aim higher than defeating a monster? Here's your see the events in the game with this. The girl specified that after Berlioz, they will stop at Glottis. Taisha that now let go of the wind, force tension, and it is better to die peacefully without knowing pain. Follow Berlin, he also defeated the demons in another fortress. His level rose to 61, and what was expected level increase slowed down. He immediately raised the layout to the maximum level with excess experience points, and acquired a lot of magic that would prove to be usable. Moving long distances when he moved to the royal capital in an instant, Mari was quite surprised. Troops have begun to move quickly using the transitional cities. It means they don't have to carry heavy loads. Marie noted that they had been fighting forever and could get some rest thanks to the transition gates. The question arose as to what they would do if they could return to the mansion in the same way. Taisha says he's going to Crossroads. According to Warden's address in that town, which belonged to the Royal Army, there's a mob of demons who've grown wings there all day. Their numbers are increasing. We need to do something. It's not enough to infect all the demons, but it seems the number of wounded is also increasing. Their strength is depleted. The girl asked me to wait. The innkeeper they took care of, and also all the members of the Lawyers Guild, as well as all the members of the Lawyers Guild. Marie said she was going too, but the guy told her no. I don't need to go to such a dangerous place. The appearance of demons to the number of wounded, and finally something to think about tags. At times like this, he'll keep going. But if things get bad, let him run away and be careful. Taishi declared that he was going. Ethan pointed out that one by one there were too many of them. He also checked with the head of the royal capital to see if more help had come from the royal capital. Warts stated that they said they were about to arrive. Ethan yelled that he was pulling them so he couldn't see anything at all. Taishi saved his life and noted that they had not seen each other for a long time. Taishi had forgotten who he was, but he reminded him that it was him, Ethan. They fought trolls together, but the hero said that he fought alone. Ethan noted how good he looked. Warts wondered who it was I had not seen for a long time, as clarified whether he could call him just a warrior, to which Taishi, at his discretion, he asked how the situation is now. The guys replied that I am not good and not bad because of the big ROV demons that usually do not appear begin to come out. They can't understand where so many of them are coming from. Taishi stated that they have held out well and now they need to rely on him. Taishi used forceful tension. Ethan noted that he is getting further away from being human. Taishi noted that he is now a warrior anyway. Unless they are the first to remove the spill, it won't be history. I've been a long time not everyone has experienced this feeling, realized he appeared. Taishi was scanned. A sample of magic power 43 times the amount of magic. A sense of danger rattled around in his head. Taishi told him to run away. Ethan didn't understand what he was saying. He realizes he has the same strength as 1,000 people. Taishi for telling me to get out of here. He pulled the orb away and everything happened in an instant. Scanning. Destruction of magic pattern 343, magic power reserve XX. It showed up after all, the black orb. Ethan and Warts asked the guy if he was okay. Well, everything was bad and he doesn't know if he can fight in this state if the enemy appears in the capital. Before that happens, he hits the black sphere, after which he would use the maximum explosion. In fact, it was definitely the case that the blows were flying at him. Means that the entity is still alive. Orders have been received from headquarters that anyone who tries to upset the balance must be eliminated. They must be eliminated. Taishi noted how similar they are to each other. The boys have stated that they will defend him. His opponents are not mere lawyers. Taishi asked the captain to allow him to demote the adventurers below rank A. Magic template number 343. Those who are trying to destroy the balance don't know what they're talking about at all. But it means the creature is targeting him. It's wondering how much magical power it has left. Some parts of him are damaged. It's because of the maximum explosion. So it's affecting him like that. The explosion between the unexpected speed and the strange sensation of the moment contained his actions, and the moment for that coat to reach him was enough time. Taishi didn't realize that this was some kind of strange sensation. What on earth is he doing? After all, he's not even a human from this world. And it would be better to just run away without engaging in any battles. Could this be the end of the game? Suddenly, he saw Marie. However, it wasn't alone, it was her magic, and he left that she was crying. He realized that he hadn't kept his promise to protect her and the rest of the mansion. The girl's voice declared that he would not lose here. He told her to wait for him, and this is not the end. He will meet him not here. Vars called to prepare for a second strike. And the non-crusade troop was also to guard it along with the Night Order and the capital. They could no longer stand by. Taishi thanked the captain for covering fire, after which he rushed to pour. The essence of that strange feeling lies in his attack. There was absolutely no sound from his movements. Moreover, when he swiped his paws on the ground, his lips were not raised, and that was the reason for his strange feeling. Even if the situation got out of control, it could be solved. Taishi used regeneration magic. Even if the advances are silent, that doesn't mean his tracks disappear. Then using Ice's skills to track the Black Lion and such, you'd be faster than him making any moves yourself, moving in a short amount of time. Taishi realized that she had to repeat it over and over again. Does the lion think he can eat it? Taishi called out in response who he even was. He said that the destruction of magic pattern 343. Is it sharing information with the hand that appeared in the capital? In addition, he heard the word scale. In other words, it is a unit that gives orders to the Black Hand. Taishi asked him what HQ means, and those who want to destroy the balance. It sounded about stopping the transmission and the battle log. Those who want to destroy the balance. Apparently HQ, for the sake of what we grab, those who want to destroy the balance, is making a huge chaos. And so for every country, those who theater would destroy the balance. He didn't understand who they were, what their purpose was. What he needs to accomplish in the first place is not a monster or a unit, rather it's something more. Ethan inquired if he was okay. He was so reckless. Taishi claimed he was at fault. But still, he was able to protect not only his girlfriend on everyone here. That's enough for now.